working. Let's go, baby! Bomb arrows to the rescue. Ha! No way! Ah! No! Oh, that assist, baby! No! Don't touch him. No! You... What did I do? It's an accident. Freaking beetle. I got the triple collapse! Oh! Ah! Oh, Dinell, go to the fire thing. It teleports us.
I am on mini back.
I trusted you! Trombone. This one is trombone. Yo, I got it! Yes! Let's go! Yeah! 24 hours done. 24 hours finished. Oh, time to beat 23 hours, 28 minutes. Oh my god! We did it! We did it! Oh my god! I couldn't have done it without you guys.
Good job, says doctor.
Holy shit!
Wait, it went through? I gave him $50. We did it! That's how it's really sus. I'm not gonna do that. There we go. I screwed up. What's up, Epicuro? What's up, Doctor? What's up, Angel? How you guys doing? Want to see the new video I made? As long as it's not Twitch TOS, sure. That was an accident. I see. What's up, guys? Hey, Dinell. Oi! How you doing? Today we're gonna do a versus. Me versus Lando. And whoever wins, best 2 out of 3 games, wins. The other person, the loser, has to get a picture of the winner on their screen for the next week. He's going to add it as a stream avatar's character, and I'm going to add a picture of him on my screen, depending on who wins. Who is Lando? Lando is the art guy. He's an art guy. We've rated him before. If you guys remember who Liquidid is, Chris. That's Chris's IRL friend. He does art mostly on his streams. Very chill guy. So yeah. Alright, let's see. Alright, what is this new video you made? What is this new video? Ayaya? How'd you make this, bro? This is not you. What the hell? Lol. Good one. You have ads. That's called being a Twitch streamer, bro. That's how it works. There are ads. What's up, Chudo? How you doing? We're going to play some weird games. We're going to play Tetris, chess, and rock, paper, scissors. Wow, fascinating games, I know. But yeah, great. Yeah, it should be pretty great. You got deep into Bloodborne today? Nice. Did you get far into it? What else there was? How you doing, though, Chudo? My mom just messaged me. I saved an egg roll for you, and all I could think of is churro because that's also food. I don't know. What else? I wanted to say something. I forgot. The donation video should be coming out either tomorrow or Saturday, but sometime soon, so that should be cool. Chestris! Yeah, bro. Chestris! Pretty much, yeah. Chestris and then rock, papers. I beat the first boss and now I beat enemies. I mean, nice. That's cool. That's cool. Nice goatee. Thank you. I was just lazy to do No same music. I was too lazy to shave. I get very lazy for that. It's okay, Angel. I don't like AMV type stuff too much. But it wasn't. Was it even your video? I don't feel like it was. What's headset do you have? Exa E900 Pro. It's pretty big. It's pretty based. Exa E900 Pro. Not that expensive. Whoa, it was not that much. It was like $20 from what I remember. Maybe it went up in price because of COVID. When I bought it, it was like $20. I guess it's this one. It looks like this one though. It doesn't plug into the PC. It's supposed to work with the PC. It doesn't. But yeah, I don't know. I'm looking for a good wired one. Oh, then I really like this one. This is a wired one. I mean, you have a volume. You could go up and down with volume. There's a mute button somewhere. Here, yeah. There's a mute button here. You could go like this when you get really excited about stuff. Yeah, I like it. But it's more expensive than it used to be. Yes. How is it your... No. Yeah, I knew it wasn't your video, bro. I didn't know you were sponsored by them. I'm not. Don't headphones hurt your ears when you wear glasses? No, not at all, actually. These glasses, I bought these in Japan. I purposefully got very thin glasses. I bought them at a place called Jin's. And Jin in Japanese means people. So I don't know if that's what they were going for, but it doesn't hurt at all, actually. It's really good. Hey, Ping Pong family, how you doing? Good ones won't. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the only thing that I get from this, even in... I wear this during 24-hour streams. The biggest thing is my head. You can't see it now. You can't see it much now because I got a haircut recently, but it pushes the hair down. But that's any headset would do that, you know? How you doing, Ping Pong? How's Ping Pong going? I'm going gay. All right. What do you want me to do with that information? Good. Great to hear. Know when you are ready. I'm just gonna message him to ask when he's ready, so we could get into it soon. Oh, look at my shirt. Oh, look at that. Let's go, Kimetsu no Yaiba. Angel, shut up. This is why you won't be. This is why you can't be a mod. You're being mean to other people, bro, for no reason. I mean, what? I mean, what? There's no song requests now, unfortunately, but because we're going to be versing soon. But yeah, good ones sometimes have less padding where the glasses are, so it doesn't press against your head. I think my glasses are just thin. The padding is pretty thick here. Oh, thanks. Thanks for the jelly bean. I haven't seen season 3 of Demon Slayer. I got this shirt for free though. Thanks, Chud. Ugh, this is the worst flavor. Hey, he's ready. Stop. Bad music. I'll call him now. I'm gonna call him. Actually, before that, I wanted to shout him out to show you guys what he even looks like. Ugh. I should probably do that, right? Well, let me shout him out. Okay. What flavor is it? It doesn't taste that bad. I can't tell, but it's the one that usually tastes like throw up. This is him, by the way. So he's doing art. Mad chill streams. He got a cat cam. And he does... Jesus. You guys never given me 10,000 cheer bits. He has like no reaction, bro. Oh, but I think because he does commissions on stream. So if you guys want art to be done, he does it on stream, which is pretty cool. So that guy was probably paying him. I heard my name. What did you say? I zoned that. Don't worry about it. Blue and red are on, by the way. Of course they goddamn are. It's okay. They'll be off soon. Let's call him. Hello? He is not answering. What's up? Are you ready? Oh, I don't think the audio is coming through for my side, so give me a second for you. I recently updated something and it's a weird update thingy. Boom, I added it. There we go. Now they should be able to hear. What'd you say? Sorry.
No, I had to change my audio from on my headset on Discord, so it's on my actual mic, so just so it sounds better.
Okay, cool. You guys could hear him, right? The stupid jelly beans are still in my mouth.
I know.
Okay, they could hear you. I think.
All right, cool.
They should be able to. Yeah, we can. Okay, cool.
All right.
Are you ready to get demolished?
Probably. Let's go.
Wow, the confidence is high.
Let's go.
All right, I sent you the link for the custom Tetris game.
All right, let's do that.
Let's do this. Well, I think it. Yeah, win by 2, first to 7. Have you been practicing for this?
No, I have not. Not since the little practice game we had yesterday.
Okay. Then you're gonna go down because I've been I stayed up all night. I didn't sleep.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
Nah, I'm just joking. You're probably gonna win. All right, let's start.
All right. See if I remember, because I did change the key bindings.
Oh yeah, you did.
All right, let's go.
You know what sucks about this?
What?
It doesn't have music.
Yeah, you know what? You need the music for
Yeah.
Tetris.
I didn't even like think about that until like right now.
We should play it on the next round. I just
Insane tension.
Call of Duty.
Oh.
Oh, you have been practicing.
No, I didn't practice. I swear. I'm just. Chat makes me pumped up. That's why. Right, guys. When you have 10,000 viewers, you know it hits different.
All right.
Damn it! Come on. I'm on the left, guys. That's a good question. I'm on the left. He's on the right. Ugh. We played a few practice games off stream and he won. But I've been studying the Russian methodology of Tetris, so
What is that?
to just get better.
Okay. I could have told you that.
Oh. You guys thought I was on the right? Why? Because I lose at most things I do? Yes, but not today. Damn, you're coming back. Ugh.
Yeah, you hit me fucking hard at the beginning.
I know, but it means nothing now. Oh, I screwed up. That's why.
Crap. Okay.
I love how we're gonna go from this intense game to like chess.
It's the mind, it's a game of wits. That's what we're doing today.
I got knocked out. Shit.
All right, that's one.
Oh, he won one. God damn. All right. Well.
Call me Angel. I came from Ping. Yes, I've noticed. We've made contact before. All right.
All right, I'm readying up. Are
All right,
you ready
let's
for the second match?
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go. Ba 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 ba. Shit, I shouldn't have done that.
Let's go. We got the Tetris music here. Free of charge. It's copyrighted though, so be careful.
Of course it is.
Oh, do you see what I'm building here? Shit. Boom! Oh, it was only 2. Whoa, what? How'd you do that?
It was 2 Tetrises back to back.
Oh. Oh my. Ah, I messed up. I actually messed up big. Why did I? Oh. My hands hurt. It feels like I'm a speedrunner. Damn it. Huh? I got knocked out?
Also, it's not an instant loss if you get knocked out.
I guess not, but I guess because I built against you like right after or something.
Well, I did send like a Tetris right there at the end.
Oh, yeah, look at how much you got. Jesus. I should have asked my brother for tips. He plays Tetris a lot. Oh my god. Okay, I'm getting some good stuff. I might actually win this round. Oh! You won. Because of the knockout.
Yeah, so I think it's just like whoever builds the most knockouts.
Yeah, I guess so.
So are you doing well? I don't know. Should I say anything?
Oh yeah, say something. Say something.
No, I was gonna say how are you like? Because I don't know if this is like typical Tetris rules when it's versus, but usually singles don't get sent over. So it has to be like at least 2 and above.
I try to build up. Yeah. So,
Okay.
yeah, doctor in my chat says also stop doing single lines if you want to do. I know. Okay, I've played Tetris before. I don't know what T spins are though.
Yeah, you don't need to know. It's one of those like, it's how would you say? It's what the Tetris gods like. I don't even know how to do them half the time, so I don't. You
All
gotta worry
right,
about that.
let's pretend no one mentioned it. I'm gonna
Yes.
ready up.
All right.
Oh. The Tetris nerds. No. Oh. I forgot the buttons for a second.
Ah, crap.
I did it on purpose though to give you a chance.
All right. Well, you got a little leg up right now because I also fucked up. Let's see. Put that there.
I'm doing some 10,000 IQ strats right now. I was about to say you wouldn't know what I'm doing, but you could just look at what I'm doing. Look at this. Oh, it's so beautiful. Yes. It didn't hit. Never mind. It wasn't as good as I thought it was.
What the fuck is going on?
Are you getting a lot?
No, I just fucked up for the second time.
I don't have anything. No, I can't change.
That doesn't fit anywhere. Oh wait, that does.
That's what she said. Sorry.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, she said it to me. She says it to me all the time.
Fuck, what's these shitty pieces I'm getting?
Don't blame the pieces, blame the game. What?
That gives me the pieces.
Yeah. What did I want to say? I don't remember. Damn it. What is this? We got the same pieces, I think. So,
That would be fair.
yeah. I think I paid attention last time when we were practicing and we got the same pieces. I'm a god. Just not at this game. Oh. Why does... Whoa.
No.
Yes, I got you with the... Yes! I KO'd him! Let's go! The only victory I will get, probably. Oh my god. Yeah! Let's go.
How many of these are we doing?
It's best out of 7, but we could do best out of 5. Like, whoever gets 3 first.
Monkey do good.
All right, that
Monkey
sounds
do
good.
very good.
Yeah, that sounds good. Or if I get 2,
Hey,
then maybe I'll just win.
we call it there.
Yeah.
All right, you're still in this. You're still in this.
Of course I'm still in this. I don't know where to put my pieces. Rip Pong? What Rip Pong? I won that round. Why are you ripping me?
He's still in this. He's still in this.
Yeah.
I mean, just barely, but you know.
Yeah. Oh, God. Ugh. Okay. Oh, that was so dumb. Oh. That should hit you with a little
Yes,
bit
it
of
did.
something. Yes. I need more. I need more. Whoa. Damn it. Oh, okay. Sorry, chat. I can't look at you guys right now. This is so intense. Jesus. I almost misplaced that. Come on. Damn it.
Monkey do bad. Monkey do
Monkey
very
do
bad.
bad. Oh, no. Oh. There's only 19 seconds left. I'm gonna have to knock him out. Oh, I got you with some, but I don't think that's enough to knock you out. GG's. GG's.
I'm not gonna lie. Kind of for the last minute, I stopped playing.
Oh my. That's so messed up. You stopped playing for the last minute because of how bad I am?
No, I saw. I was like, ah.
That's so messed up. I'm gonna do the same thing to you in chess, okay?
All
Do the
right.
same exact.
Well, see, but that one you have to.
Well, whatever. You won the first one. I'll win the second one. It's
Alright,
okay.
All right, there's a possibility. I'm not that great at chess.
Yeah. Watch your rating be like 10,000 times mine.
Oh shit.
No, I don't want to say it anymore. They're actually fairly easy. You just have to learn some basic setups for T-spin doubles. Cool. Okay.
Squidward knows. By Cupcake. Never heard of
She
that.
don't say that to me because there's no
That
she.
shit turned off. Channel rewards. All right, so chess
Balls.
next, right?
Intense chess. Hell
Put
yeah.
some music on. It's too quiet.
Yeah, I have music playing too.
Yeah, I need some on mine.
All right. Chess. Am I signed in? Oh, I'm not. I have to use my other secret browser. Let's use the secret browser. They can't see it because I could get doxxed. There we go. Next is chess, guys, and then if I beat him in chess, we'll go to rock, paper, scissors, which
Which
tends
is
to
the
be-
hardest of the games.
Yeah, it kind of is. It tends to be the hardest. Do you have a
You
chess
tell 'em what this
account?
takes for? I
What's-
do not. Do I need one?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go ahead.
Sorry. Chess.com. Pretty intense stuff.
You know, I may have one actually.
What's up, Nathan? How you doing? Well, yeah, that's the tiebreaker. I placed 3 in a rock paper scissors tournament. Nice.
Make sure I'm not doxing
How many people
myself.
were you
I
playing
am
with though?
not.
Actually, I think I could send you a challenge link.
Let me see if I can log in. If not,
Okay.
yeah, I do have an account, but no idea what the password could be at this point. I know I made it at one point on my phone.
All right.
Yeah, so no.
You gonna make a new account?
Did you say you could send just send like a challenge link?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if it's gonna work, but let's try
It.
that.
If not, I'll make one.
Chess has to be pretty intense, though, right?
Of course. Bishop to king 6. Play as guess. Okay, there we go.
Oh, you could do it? Okay,
Yes.
cool.
All right.
All right, time to get demolished. Oh, you're white. Okay. Well, you're more brown, but sorry. Just in the game.
All right.
Oh, I'm gonna do the Karo Khan.
I don't know what that means.
That's why I was laughing.
That's not fair.
Well, you play Tetris, so that's not fair. Whoa, you didn't take? Ooh, that's the advanced variation. How'd you know it?
I played chess once with my dad.
Oh, I don't know what to do here, to be honest. I'm good. I'm gonna be a bit more late for Thursday stream. You mean Friday stream? Okay, no worries. I've been good. Glad to hear you've been doing good. 100. It was in school for recess. That's a lot of people. Good job, Ping Pong.
Call of Duty wants me to beat you.
Call of Duty doesn't like me.
Yeah, I kind of got a feeling from the interactions. All right, let's see.
Oh, today's stream? No worries. I'll see you next time then, Nathan. I hope you get your art project almost done. You had the background left, right? Nope. Fridays you'll be there? Okay, cool. You're taking notes. By the way, mods, if you want to put something up to say who would win the chess game, or if I'll win with 2 minutes left on the clock or something, you could put up some points up, since someone was asking about points earlier. You're doing the GM 570 strat, aren't you?
Yeah, of course. Naturally.
What's up, Cassia? You're gonna win.
Okay, so what happens if I run out of time? I lose?
Yes, you lose if you run out of time.
Oh, okay. All right.
Quick tip, don't run out of time. Huh. What if I do this?
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
But then I can do this.
Yes, but now your pawns are doubled.
Oh.
Yeah. That was kind of sexual. You could tone it back a bit. It's,
all right, let's see.
Yeah. Level head one day though, Cashew. Quick strat for RPS in the middle of saying RPS is cough and distract them, then throw rock. Okay. Is that what you did to get third? I'm just gonna be a bit more late than usually. For now on. Oh, I see. Okay, Nathan. Because of homework and stuff?
What's your experience with chess?
I'm pretty much a prodigy.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're holding a knight when you came out of your... Oh, okay.
That's right. You gave me a free pawn. I'll take it.
Alrighty.
No, I've gotten into chess. A few months ago, I got into it, and I got my rating up to 1100 around.
I remember that.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I saw you playing. There was this fad in Twitch with everybody playing chess for a bit.
Yes. I played chess when I was younger, but never too much. And I got into it more recently, and now I'm a little better. But
Okay.
You were legit? Oh, okay, ping pong.
Hmm.
I'm walking with my friends and I'm going to be working out more in my room. Oh, okay, cool. Working out is cool. Fool! Why would you do such a move?
I triggered your trap card.
You triggered my trap card.
No. Give me my pawn. God,
Well, you
this
could
is not looking good.
you could take it if you want.
Yeah. Is it worth it though?
I don't know.
Is it worth it?
All right, see you, Angel.
Hmm.
Bye bye. I'm an anime. Okay. Yeah, stream chess. That would be cool. I would verse you if I saw you streaming from time to time. You want to do the Chofsky method?
What is that? Are you just making shit up, or are those real things?
Nah, I'm making it up.
Hmm.
Boom! Free night, baby. Let's go.
Uh-oh.
All right, Dino.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. I'll take that.
Ouch. Okay. Do I want to do it with the pokey thingy one or the religious thing?
Religion? Oh, go religion. Oh, snap. They're both religious, though, because the bishops have a cross
the
on
bishop.
them.
Yeah.
The Noam Chomsky method. Yes.
Never liked him, but I stick around for support. Okay.
Wait, is someone talking about me?
Yeah, Call of Duty.
I don't like him, but I stick around for support. Yeah, I have a chat that loves me.
The toxicity of a city.
The deadline has been moved to next week.
Shit. Where did my queen go?
Cool.
What the fuck?
What?
Damn it, chat.
Where'd your queen go? Your queen died.
I know. Fuck. Shit. I'm
Bro,
fucked.
are you playing checkers by accident? Like,
Yeah.
oh.
I left it in the Tetris page.
Looks like Call of Duty Angel's not the only one that's here to a lot of people seem to watch me just out of pity, it seems like.
Half of it is pretty, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I'm gonna move quick because I'm a pro player.
Fuck, I got 50 seconds left. This is probably it.
We got pro versus noob. True. I'm not a pro though. Bro, you're giving me your knight, your bishop.
I'm giving you everything at this point. I don't fucking.
Next game, can I give you a handicap?
You know what?
Yeah.
I was gonna say I gave you a handicap, but then again, was it really a handicap if I already knew I was gonna win?
Damn, that's how I'm thinking.
Oh,
I'm
shit.
not gonna lie. What? What was that for?
Because I ran out of time.
Oh.
Or I'm running out of time. Oh shit. Let's see. Very little I can do.
I'll give you a handicap, like a cap that's pretty handy. You're just giving me your pieces at this point.
All right. Well, okay. Well, 1 second, 2 seconds. Yeah, there you go.
Wow. Too easy.
Yeah, that's yeah, no. Yeah.
All right, I'll give myself less time. Wait, let me see. I don't know. Wait. How do I do this? Yeah, I'll give myself. I'll give a handicap here. Play a friend. Challenge link. Oh, here I could do settings. Play. Go timestamp. Actually, you know what? I don't know how to. I'll just make my time go down to like 3 minutes. Okay?
Okay.
Because this is way too easy. It's not even a challenge. I sent you a new
You know,
link.
we pick games that like we just are not like the skill level. You know, it's so vastly different for both games.
Oh, that makes the tiebreaker crazier, right?
All right, that's true.
Ugh, jelly bean. I just realized. I remember a chess game I played for hours on end and never beat the goddamn tutorial. Sheesh. Make his time double yours. Yeah. I give myself 2.5 minutes. Did you accept the invite?
Wait, who am I playing right now?
You're not. Oh my. You didn't. You have to accept
I
the invite.
I'm playing somebody. Who the hell am I playing right now?
I don't know. Probably a viewer.
All right. Oh, you guys are douche. No, because I followed you, Link. Hold on.
Yo, this bean is nasty.
Okay.
I played against the computer a few days ago and it kept telling me I had missed the win for like 10 turns and I just couldn't see it. It didn't work out and beat my record of 100 weights. Nice. All right, enjoy. Thanks for popping in, pooping in, Nathan. Maybe I'll see you later. I was never good at chess.
What the hell did you send me?
On Discord, I said.
You cannot. You can only accept. You can only accept this challenge once.
Should I send you another invite?
Yeah, go for it.
I'll move very slow. Oh, cool, ping pong.
Right.
See ya, Nathan. Bye-bye. You accepted it?
Yeah.
You accepted your defeat?
No.
Oh. Wait, wasn't it working?
I think I'm watching somebody.
What? I'm just waiting for you. Maybe you send me a challenge thing?
Okay, how do I do that?
Yeah, if you know how to do it, yeah.
Play.
Play and then challenge link.
I do not have that option.
Okay, I'll send you another link.
Right. I don't know if it's because I had it opened, so it's just like, I don't know.
Hey. Here you go. Hopefully that one works. If it doesn't, well, I'm gonna have to win anyway, so. Wait, did that one work?
Because I'm getting there's already a game in progress.
Okay, let me refresh my page, I guess.
Okay.
We're super organized here.
Yes.
Custom game.
Figuring it out is half the battle.
Games. I think I could literally just go to my home. I mean, I'm in my home. But there should be a category that shows people. You know what? I'm gonna do another challenge link. I'm sorry.
Right.
Unless someone else in the chat is stealing the challenge link. It should be okay. In Disney cars, how do they reproduce conspiracy theories? Cussy? Cussy is a thing now, right? All right, I have sent you the link.
Got it.
I could go on full screen. Oh. I didn't know that.
Yeah. See, like, there's already a game going on.
Yeah, I'm versing no one.
All right, I'm moving a piece.
Okay, move a piece. Oh.
Wait, White's turn.
Okay, you're not versing me. Okay, recent opponents. You wouldn't show, I guess, because you're a guest, right?
Mine's under, guess, 861222223.
Don't say it out loud. They're gonna join.
Oh.
Nah, I'm joking. You know when you have like thousands of viewers and invite friends. Oh, send to anyone you want to friend. Oh, but that would force you to register and make an account. The challenge link was apparently friends can directly challenge you at any time, but you're not my friend. Oh, sorry. That was not nice, but
Alright, fuck it. Let me make an account real quick then.
You can make an account? Okay. While you make an account, I'll try to figure out how 2, set it up to give myself a hand or you a handicap or whatever. Wait, your friends can challenge me. Wow. Hey, ping pong. Let's see. There has to be a way where you could set it up. Variance. Whoa. Whoa. That's sick. There's so many different versions of chess. Whoa.
Okay. Skip the trial.
That seems crazy. Okay.
All right. I made an account.
What's your account name? Username.
Lando illustrations. Without the period.
Without
It's all one
the...
word.
Oh,
It's Lando illustrations.
okay. There we go. I will challenge you. Rated. No, not rated. We'll do a 5-minute. Boom. You should be getting an invitation now. If you go to the home page, you should see it, maybe. Nice, Cashew. Yeah, I didn't know they had these versions either. It's actually pretty cool in my opinion.
No.
They have a lot of versions. I think you canceled it by accident. I'm going to send you another invitation.
All right, go for it.
Yeah. You guys are like so on top of the watch time. The month just started, baby. Month just started, baby. Sam is up there. I haven't seen Sam in a while. Just kidding. I saw Sam the other day, but still.
The hell?
Go to play. Press play. Okay, I'm gonna add you as a friend.
All right.
Somehow. If I go to play or home. Why is this not working? Play. Yeah, I'm searching for a game versus you, but let me try to just add you as a friend. Alternatively. Right. Anyone remember how to add as friend? The chess website is so like all over the place, I feel like. Profile.
Because I have an alert here, but I click it and then it says no alert.
Huh. Someone hacked into your computer.
Load. Yeah, maybe.
So that you don't have to lose.
Damn it, Call of Duty, is it you?
Yeah, it probably is, so you don't have to lose. So you feel better, you know. Okay. I'm gonna add you as a friend. Lando illustrations. There we go. A request has been sent to you. Let me know when you get a request.
Alrighty. Where would I even look for it?
Go to the home or the play or something. Should be popping up somewhere.
There we go.
You got it?
Got it.
All right. Awesome. You should be on my list of friends now, so I should have exactly one friend now. I don't see it popping up. Let me refresh. Play a friend. There you are. Standard. Yeah, we'll just do standard. I press play now. Do you see something? Under the play or under the home? Alternatively, you could send me a friend request. Or not a friend request, a play request.
See,
guys.
Like I have the alert and then they won't load. Like
Californians,
it just it's
bro.
blank. It says no alerts. But it has the little icon saying I have an alert.
Californians, bro.
Let me just try a new one then.
What if you try to verse me? Go to play a friend, and then you should see me under your list of friends, and then click on that to play. Let's go! I need to get water. Stupid jelly beans are in my mouth.
Did it work?
You know what else is in my mouth? I'm not gonna tell you guys. It's kind of sussy, Baka.
Looks like it did.
Okay, you sent a thing request.
Yeah, I sent it.
Okay, let's see if I have it. I don't see. Why don't I see anything? Let's blame the chess website. Yeah. Play a friend. Maybe we both have to do it to each other. That's what she said.
Accept. Does that work?
Hey. Okay.
There we go.
Go ahead. Hey girl, were you raised on chicken farm? Cause you sure know how to raise a. That's an old one. Ooh. Do we want to go for the same one again? All right, let's do it. Ooh, I could give you time. Oh, I gave you 15 seconds.
Nice.
Wait, what? That's so weird. I give you another 15 seconds. Oh, it's probably added to both of us. No, you have more time than me, right?
I have 5:16.
I gave you 15 more seconds. I'm gonna give you 15 more, and 15 more, and 15 more, and 15 more. Cause you're gonna need it all. I'm so cocky. This is the same exact way the last game started, by the way.
Is it? No, I didn't pull out my knight.
Oh yeah, you didn't. You're right. See, you're better than me. If you're gonna lose, you're not gonna lose on time. Maybe.
Maybe.
That was actually a bad move by me.
Was it? You know, the thing is, I probably can't even like figure it out to capitalize on it.
You could do that, and then I do that, and then you do that.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I win in 32 moves.
And then you do. I can't do that because of that. So you get the pawn.
Damn it.
Pretty much.
Fuck it. Oh, yeah.
I'm just gonna play quick. Ooh, how about this? If my time goes below 3 minutes, I lose.
Well.
You want to do that?
Again, no, it doesn't seem fair.
Oh, come on. That sounds fun.
Is it me? Oh, yeah, it's me. Shit. I didn't even see your fucking move play. Shit.
I moved the pawn.
I see that. All right. Let's do horsey.
Why do you sound like you're about to have sex with a horse? The way you said that. Horsey.
Get along, little doggy.
Okay. Bro, you know it's your turn. Okay, there you go. I'm such an asshole. Let's go. This is the plan, guys. Boom, boom, whatever, boom, whatever, boom. And I win. Puns in chess are useless. They piece me off. Sorry. That was chat. Let's do that.
You know, the thing is, like, the death in Tetris was quick. This is torture.
Yeah. Hey, you said you were okay with chess. So.
Yeah. I said I like chess. I didn't say I was good at it.
Yeah. I didn't think it would be this big of a slaughter.
Yeah.
Well, hey, if you win this one, how about... No. If you win this one, we'll go to the third one. And final one. But if I win, we go to rock, paper, scissors.
I think we know how that's going to end up.
I hope you're not going for 6 jelly beans ping pong. There's a cooldown between them, but still. Oh, they're so nasty. I still want to refill my water bottle. Too easy. Here, I'll give you an extra 15 cents. Oh.
Oh, boy.
Your queen is gone. It's dead. It has died. Remember, if I go below 3 minutes, I lose. You know what? If I go below 3.5 minutes, I'll lose, okay? I'm feeling cocky. Never mind. I'm doing amazing. Ha 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 ha. This is what I want to do, guys. Because his piece is here, I can now do this, right? I could do this, but then that leaves this open, so I'm not gonna do that. I could do your mama. Sorry. I could go here, put pressure on this, and it's just in the middle of everything. Actually, I actually kind of like that. Just putting this. Oh,
Or 20.
bishops work backwards. That was 420. Yeah. Damn, I feel bad. I'm just slaughtering you. It's
This
like,
is fucking like. I didn't realize how fucking terrible I was.
No, don't worry.
This is the last time I played chess.
No,
I don't
no,
even
no,
fucking
no.
remember.
It's how good I am. It's not how terrible you are. Okay. I don't know what music to put on. It's so much time has passed. Humbleness. Minus humbleness, they're telling me. Yes, I don't have much humbleness. Because I'm not very good at many things. So if I'm good at something, I feel better. Remember, if I spend 34 seconds, I lose. So you just need to get me to spend 34 seconds. I'm at 4:04. Oh my god, you got 15 seconds out of nowhere. You see, I could have taken that pawn for free with my queen. But I didn't see that. Why would you give me that? Why, Lando? Why?
Because I didn't notice it. Let's be honest here.
I think his best move now is to do this. I don't know if that's true. Oh, he did it. That's actually what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking I would do if I had like a few seconds to think about it. And now I could go boom, boom. And he has to go here. And then I go boom and it's checkmate. No, it's not, but it's closer. And then he has to go boom, but he can't, so he has to like go boom. And then I go, oh. Damn it, you ruined my plans. But we're still okay. I have 24 seconds left. If I do not win in the next 24 seconds, it is his victory. That's how cocky I'm feeling. Now all I gotta do is this, guys. He can't do this because of this. He could... Oh. He could do this, in which case I could do that. Or he could do this, in which case I do that. And then he might do this, and then I do that.
What he said.
Yeah, what I said. I'm such a sore winner. Yes. How he did none of that, Dinell. He did it, okay? That's the only moves he has. Checkmate, baby!
Well, there you go.
Let's go! That doesn't feel as good, though. I feel kind of bad.
That's exactly how I felt with Tetris.
Oh.
That's what I was like, you know what? Like, this is not even fair.
Well, I'll tell you what. No one will feel bad on this next game, because this next game is going to be goddamn intense.
Let's you press a button.
It's more than just pressing a button.
Have I ever? I don't think I have ever played
Rock, paper, scissors?
digital rock, paper, scissors.
Oh.
No, wait. Mario Party. Never mind.
I sent you the link.
Okay.
We're gonna 3, 2, 1 go it. So our chats can't make us lose.
My thousands and thousands of viewers. Yeah, you're right.
Wait, can I make a phone call?
Sure.
Like for the rock, paper, scissors.
All right.
Okay, I'll make a phone call if I'm down.
All right.
My laugh gives you life. Lol. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Ooh, it's a tie. That tells me that he's very safe. And he's very worried about losing. 3, 2, 1, go! Ooh. What's going on? 3, 2, 1, go! Oh no! All right, I'm making a phone call. Is that okay?
Go for it.
Okay, I'm making. I need.
He is phoning a friend. He believes it will help him in some way.
Yes. Oh, I should mute myself. Wait. That would ruin the whole point. I want to play a game, but I want to watch you. Try to do both. Put me in the background or something. I don't know. This part of the stream's almost over though. My man is not answering. Oh, hello?
Hello?
You're on stream.
What's up, people?
Okay, rock, paper, or scissors.
This thing isn't even called Tetris. I just realized it's called Combo.
Oh, man.
Rock, papers, or scissors, bro.
Rock.
Rock? Okay. Thank you, bye.
I'm gonna go home.
I'm ready with my decision. 3,
All right.
2, 1, go! Yes!
All right.
Let's go!
Your phone call paid off?
My phone call did pay off. What do I pick now? I'm gonna pick scissors. Do you trust me?
Do I?
This is for big stakes.
Mm.
Just to remind chat, I have to put a picture of him on my screen for a week, or he has to make a character of me on his stream avatars for a week, or maybe forever, whatever he wants. But so
We'll see how the chat feels.
yeah, we'll see how the chat feels. It's
All right.
1-1 right now. I'm gonna pick scissors. Whenever you're ready, you could 3-2-1 it if you want.
All right. 3, 2,
Ugh.
1.
No, you
I mean,
How'd you know I wasn't lying?
I didn't.
Damn it. Okay, if I lose this, it's all over. I actually gotta think here.
It's all over now.
Rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors.
But if I pick scissors, he might pick rock. But if I pick rock, he might pick paper.
Exactly.
But if we both pick paper,
Then we both lose.
then we both tie.
Oh. Need to figure out what music to put. All right. I am going to pick scissors once again. Okay?
Is he though?
I'm picking scissors again.
All right, then I'm picking rock.
You're picking rock?
I'm picking rock. You're picking scissors. I'm picking rock.
That means you're gonna pick paper. Which means I'm gonna pick rock. Which means I'm gonna pick scissors. 3, 2, 1. Yes!
Oof.
Last round. This is a tied 2v2, baby. I'm not telling you what I'm
Damn,
picking
never
this
last one.
time.
Alrighty. All right.
I gotta think of everything he's done thus far.
Because it'll matter.
Damn
It's
it.
1 out of 3.
It's 1 out of 3,
2.
2, 1. Yeah. Oh, bro. 3, 2, 1. Ah, come on, bro. Oh, who's gonna switch first? 3, 2, 1. I go. No! He switched. No.
All right.
You actually did it. Oh, damn.
Monkey do bad. Monkey do very bad.
Monkey do very bad. All right. Send me the picture on Discord. You know, find a picture to send me. I'll put it on my stream for a week.
Alrighty.
It's gonna be on all my future videos. You're gonna
Has
be
to be like over your face. No, that's
over my face.
yes. It has to track your face.
Oh God, I don't even know if I could do that. Jesus, that was intense. What the hell? How was it so close?
We tied to the very end. Tied
We
to the very end.
We did. You know what's funny? DNL in chat even said he hasn't picked paper. Ah, and then you went paper, but I didn't listen. I wanted to go my own route, and I lost.
Hey, was it worth it?
It was not worth it.
No, I mean on my end. I'm still trying to figure it out.
I lost. I should have more buttons to show my sadness for. Just, bro, like.
It really did boil down to just rock, paper, scissors in the end.
It
really.
boiled down to rock, paper, scissors.
Because that was the only one where I feel like we were both evenly matched, and it's just because it's built into the game.
Well, GG's.
GG, I suppose.
It's so easy for you. You don't even need 50 G's. Oh, wrong button. Damn. Oh. I want to see the picture he sent me. That's what I'm curious.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. I don't take many pictures. What's the stupidest looking picture of me?
I don't know. Where all my buttons are all over the place. What am I pressing? Well, you win some, you lose some. It is what it is. It's good, it's good. That was good. That was close, that was fun. And like Epikudo said, it was actually a pretty balanced series of games. Well, kind of.
I mean, yeah.
We got to the
yeah,
tiebreaker,
maybe.
so that's the important
We
part.
got to the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
I mean, it was even at the end.
Yeah. It was 2-2. That's
at
crazy.
the end, it was.
Every time I call someone, though, they always tell me rock, and it always works out. I've done that like 3 times in the past against other people, and it's always rock, and it always works out.
Why is it always rock?
I don't know. I guess paper or scissors. I don't know.
It's
Swans
nice and
is worse
sturdy.
than any death on Elden Ring. True. Nice and sturdy, just like my
Mm-hmm.
relationship with my mother. I don't know. All right.
Alrighty then. Well, it was fun.
Yes. When are you
I
gonna
will
send me
get
the
to you.
picture?
I am looking for one right now. I don't know if I'm gonna have to take one or just see what I got.
I mean, it could be a picture of your cat, even. It could be anything. One of your cats.
I
or-
was thinking that.
Yeah. Or it could literally be something that says, "Follow Lando illustrations on Twitch." You know? It's your decision. I'm the loser.
Free advertisement.
Exactly. I'm the loser here.
But yeah, I will get back to you. Back
Alright.
to you with that then.
Twas fun. Thanks for the games.
Yep.
And I'll talk to you later, I guess, yeah?
Have a good one, man.
Yep, you
Later.
too. Bye. He's so chill, right, guys? He's too chill for my energy. But that was fun, I thought. What do you guys think? That was close. It's fun. This, what was going to be the image if you won? Oh, I don't know, actually. I was really busy with, I was really busy with some other stuff, but I probably would have sent like a picture of my doggo. A really cute picture of my doggo. Maybe even the same picture I sent at the Discord. Ah! But yeah, you know what I want to do now, guys? Something we haven't done in a long time. Community games. Yeah, that doggo. Ooh, you heard the song? What picture should I have sent if I would have won? I lose too many of these games. Yeah, it's been a while since community games. There was a knock at the window. I saw my father, then died laughing when my dog had the most straight face ever. Dogs are awesome. Dogs are really funny to me too. Korean haircut pic. Oh, that would have been good actually. Yeah, maybe I would have sent that picture. For those that don't know, when I was in Korea, I was well, I had a haircut. I had a Korean hair. I got a haircut in Korea. And it looked kind of cool. Let me go here. And put background music. You guys could add music. Since we'll be doing community games. And I feel like it's good to have background music that you guys put. I think I've never participated in one. You may have not. So we have a bunch of different ones, but Wordy is a game that a lot of people play lately. Community games. Let me just change the title of the stream. So let's try a game of Wordle or whatever. I've never tried it. What could I do? Or I could have sent him this picture. Wordle. What's Wordle? Wordle is like this. It became really, really popular recently. I don't know why. I've never played it though. I've seen other streamers play it. So let's read. Guess the Wordle in 6 tries. Each guess must be a valid 5-letter word. After each guess, the color of the tiles will change to show how close your guess was to the word. Little W in the word and in the correct spot. So you have to have a 5-letter word. The color of the tiles will change to show how close your guess. Okay. So I guess just think of 5-letter words and I'll type it in. You said wordy? Oh. You're gonna head out? Alright. Enjoy the gaming, Ping Pong. It was very nice seeing ya, and I hope you have a great one. Bow, bow, bow. Taking off the nails. Can I come again, please? Ratio. Let's try ratio. Can I just type it? Oh, I could. Ooh. So R and O mean that we could use them? I don't know. First word always is morph. Wait, so what? Oh, Castro said ratio. Because L plus ratio. You guys get it? Let me put the rewards back on. Checking out my nails. Can I come again, please? Okay, all the rewards should be chillin', like Bing chilling. Bing chilling. I'm gonna turn off blue and red because goddamn it, they should not be popping up. Morph. I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea how this game works. You just remembered what the word is? So the word includes M and O, yeah? And it doesn't include R or O. I think that's what it means, right? Oh, I think I actually understand how it works now. Read the instruct. No? Oh. Thunderstruck. Have to be 5 letters in length and only 6 attempts. Hit the enter. You will then see each tile gray, yellow, or green. Oh my god, commercials. Uses to make guesses with words containing more or of the correct or partially correct. Yeah, I don't get it. Yellow is correct letter, wrong spot. Green is correct letter, correct spot. Oh, so this word starts with M-O. There's a question mark? Oh, there's a question mark. Oh. Whatever. Cause Google sensei. That's what people used to say. Okay, so we have to come up with 5-letter words that start with M and O. And there's an R somewhere. Huh. Moar? If you turn on high contrast mode, it's orange and green. Oh. Motor. Motor could be good, actually. Motor. Okay, so the R is definitely in the 4th place. We know that now. So it's M-O something R. Morn. Morn could be it, actually. I think Morn is it. Let's go. That's so easy. Damn, we're mad smart. Can you not do any more? Is it only 1 a day or something? That's dumb. You can guess whatever you want to eliminate potential letters. I gotcha. Alright, well that game was slow. We could do words on stream. We could also do, what is it called? With the G. Do the sedicording? What is that? Sedicordal? It's like Wordle, but you solve 16. Whoa, what the hell? Poops. Sexual. Oh. Jesus, this looks insane. So this is the same concept, I'm guessing, but with more? Alright, what words you guys think are good here? Here's the question mark. Guess all 16 Sidorkal. Oh, it's like you're playing different ones at the same time, I guess. Pings. But there's no P. Alright, let's try pings. There's an I. We already knew the S was in the last location. So, in absurdal? Absurdal? Oh my god, how many versions are there? The hell? Okay. Let's stick to Sidortal for now. Sidicordal. We got trace. Ooh, nice. So this means that the A is in the right place here, but there's an R and E somewhere here. So maybe reels. This could be reels, maybe. Reels. Here the E was right on the right place though. So reels could be on the left side. Frame. I'll type what you guys are saying though. Frame. Ooh, whoa. The M-E-A-R. Mare? Mares. Frame? Oh, no, wait. That's the one you just guessed. R-M... Mears? Huh. Remember, we have an S and an I on the right side. So S and I are somewhere, like icicle or something. And then on the left we have A-R-M-E. That's a lot. Mears. Earm. Ram. Rame. Rams? Gordon Ramsay? I'm gonna go on the Discord and just... I'm gonna go on Discord and the community games and just say that we're doing community games. Doing community games, guys. Community. It's been a while, so I think some people will be fun. Train. Like, she ran a train on me. Wait, why would train work? No, train makes no sense. Train literally makes no sense. Why would train be it? Wait. Wordle and Global if you like geography. Nerdle for math. There's Duodle. That's all the ones I know. Anit Wordle. I kind of want to do global. Let's try global after. Realm. Would realm actually makes a lot of sense. I think realm is the word on the left. Nice! We got realm. Oh, you need to get like a bunch of them? Is that how it is? the only thing we know about here is that E is on the right side here, and S and I are somewhere else. Nice, Epikuro. You deserve a wow. Yeah, my IQ is mad high. What the hell? The reason why train wouldn't work is because T we already tried and it wasn't here, and we tried it here also. I tried to find it, but I searched Wordle. Wordle. I'll play global after this. It's two different ones. Oh. What words could be good here? Icicle? No. Single? Singe. Is singe a good guess, guys? No, I is not supposed to be there. Huh. The only thing we know is that the E is there. That's the only thing we know. And that there's an INS somewhere else. Something that starts with S maybe and ends in E. You probably have more information on another one. What? Oh, what the hell? Wait, this is intense, bro. Oh, I get it now. Oh, shit. I didn't realize. Well, that's why it's called Wordle. What is that, 16 or something? Oh, it shows how many on the top. We got 1 out of 16. Interesting. Oh, it's because Google gets it for me. Lol. Mince. Wait, let's look everywhere else for a second. We got AME here. We got TRC. Trice? Tricks? Trick. This could be trick. Oh, no, but I's not here. Truck. I think truck might be one, guys. What do you guys think? I say we go with truck. You have to get them all right from now on? Oh, I didn't realize that. My mind hurts now. I think truck is one. Yeah, it was! It was number 9. I'm a genius! We got truck. So, let's try to figure out the ones that we know more information about. It looks like we know... Oh, this might be large. L-A-R-G... Oh, no, there's no G. Mince? What would mince fit in with? What number? I didn't realize it was this intense. Mince... Were you thinking mince for this? There's no C on this one. This one might be good to try to guess. C, it ends in N. Oh, that's why you're saying mince. But there's no I in this one. So, wait, this is easy. We know it's NCE, and we know there's an E and an O and a U. Wait, what? That doesn't make sense. How could there be an E, an O, and an U? Ounce. Oh, you. Oh, yeah. Oh, you. Oh, because the E was already here. I'm an idiot. Nice. We got ounce. Okay, this might be good to look at now. A-M-E, and there's an S and M. Oh, no, the M is here. S. Same? Something slame? Scream? Srame? Shame! Shame, that makes sense. Let's go! Good shit! Okay, what other ones do I have good information on? There are so many. Let's look at this one. U-G-E. A-U-G-E. A-U-G-E? Gouge or something? Yeah, shame worked out. Gouge? Wait, would G be twice, or we don't know if it would be? Gouge, okay. Epicuro says gouge as well. Let's go! This is not as hard as it seems. This is place. This must be place, right, guys? You got a P, L. Oh, no, because A is not in the right place. Never mind. Not in the right place. Lol. What else we got? I don't like this one for stream as much, though, because I'm the only one that could scroll through it, so it doesn't feel as fair, you know? Okay, we got quite... This is just E. S-U-E-I-S. What? Suisus. No C. Yeah. How about here? Wait, why is the music not playing? Where's the music? I need video not available. Okay. You guys have any idea for this one? You have S-U-E-I-S. S-U-E-I-S. What order would that be? S-U... Suis? Go to 6? I don't know what numbers there. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. S-U-R-I-S. Rinse? No. Prince? No. So this can't start with S or R. And starting with U is weird. So we need to know the last letter. The first letter here. We know it's I and S. So we probably have an R maybe over here. There's... Oh, no. R over here. Or maybe it starts with a U. The R has to be here or here. This one's kind of hard. I feel like we have so much information here, but we don't. Ooh, this looks like a lot of stuff. I feel like we could get this one, guys. I really feel like we could get this one. It starts with P. The E is in between here somewhere. And the A is in between here somewhere. Plane? Plane? P-L... No, it can't be P-L-A. This game's hard. Lead. I'm just looking at it. I'm not entering it yet. E-A... There's no D in this. Plead looks good, actually. Because you have a P in the first column. The L is not here, but it's somewhere, so it could be here. E is somewhere, but over here. A is here. And D has not been found. Nice! We got plead. I really messed it up with poops in the beginning. While we're at it, what does the 16th one look like? We got R-O-G-A. Man, we don't need to go out, look at... Oh, the O is already here. Growl? I feel like it's growl. Oh, no, L is not a thing. We could skip that one. How about... I want to see if we got any cool stuff after that. This seems... Oh, let's look at this one. We already have 2 letters here. We got S-E... S-T-E... Steel. No, A is not a word. But S-T-E... Oh, S-T-E-E-L. Steel. What do you guys think? You think it could be steel? S is already certain. E is already certain. T is not here, so it could be here. And L. What do you guys think? That was my guess? Okay, let's do it. Let's go! Good job, guys. I think it works. It's crazy how this one has only 1. This is going to be like so annoying to get. All right, let's look at this one. The second one. E and the last. S-U-E-I. What the hell? S-U... Oh, no. S-U-I. S-U-I? Issues. Maybe issue? Issue? What do you guys think? E is for certain here. S... I think it's issue. Supply. We can see what letters it doesn't have. True. I think it is issue, though, because, like, there's no I here. Like, I is not here, and S is not here or here. Sounds good? Okay. Let's go. Oh, Jesus Christ, bro. You're right, though, Dinelle. We can see what letters aren't here to figure this one out. But it's still... There's only so many letters. We'll skip it for now, obviously. Ooh, S. This is easy. Spend. That has to be spend. We got S in place, E in place, D in place. P is over there. And Enno's over there. I'm not gonna even ask you guys for that one. That was easy. Spent. And you, I'm with you, my love. SRUI. How many are there? They're getting like longer. It's hard to see, but I is here. It ends in US. IOUS maybe? A lot of words. Oh no. We have R. Virus. Smart. Let's see if that makes sense. There are no V's here. I is here. U is here. S is here. And R. There have been no R's. Jesus. Nice. We got virus. And still nothing here. Jesus Christ. Maybe they did that on purpose. Like it's a weird word that'll be last. Okay. My head is like, Jesus. Okay. We got S and we got L. R-I. R-I. We know that it has R and an I. The R has to be here. Probably booby if I had to guess. I mean, it could be. No, I tried poopy. It doesn't have an O, right? Oh, maybe it did. I don't remember already. So S, the R has to be here. What ends in RL? Earl? Sturl? Oh, there's no T. R has to be here. L has to be here. Oh, no, L is already. I has to be here. IRL. Spurl. No, but there's no P. Yeah, it can't be pearl, because S is in the right place here. It's swirl. Yes. Nice, Dino. It must be swirl, right? Let's just look at it again. L is here. S is here. W is not anywhere on this chart. I is here. So I can be here. R is forced to be in this column, guys, because R is here and here. Okay. Yup. Let's do it. Let's go. Good stuff, guys. Waiting so long. I've been waiting so long. Let's do the one right next to it, I guess. We have O. O is over here. Oh, blank O, blank E, blank. There's a wonk. There's a W-O-E-N-K. What combination of W-O-E-N-K? With the E being second to last and the O being second, which you guys can't see because it's squirrel. It's over here. W-O-E-N-K. W-O-E-N-K? What is that? I have to like type it out. W-O-E-N-K. World. So world would work if there wasn't a K here. I know it's hard to look at, but there's a K in this word somewhere. The words we have are W-O-E-N-K. I mean the letters are W-O-E-N-K. And we know E is the second to last and O is the second letter. Actually, I should redo it. O. The capital letters must be in that location. Noka? Known? No, Cohen? Noak? What? This should be really easy, guys. You better dance alright. Oh, K can't be at last also, actually. Woken! Genius. Woken. You both got it around the same time. Woken, yes. Let's just double check. W is not there. O has to be there. K is there. Yeah, Woken looks right. Let's go. Good stuff. Ooh, this is easy. Fortnite. F-O-R-T is for sure. But what's the last? Forte? No, forts? But there's no S. What the hell could this be? It has to be F-O-R and then some. Oh, it could be F-O-R something T. 40? Oh, 40, like the number. Wait, that makes sense. Do you guys think that's a bit risky? I feel like there's a lot of letters that could be here. But we haven't had Y, so let's go 40. Nice. Okay, we got Y. This one's looking a little better, I guess. Still very hard. So we'll come to this last, I guess. Forky? Nah, it ended up being 40. But good guesses, good guesses. All right, where do we gotta go? All right, let's look at this one. We have 2 more left at the end here, and then we could go back up. We have something something OU. Something something OU. We have a T, an A, and then OU, and then blank. I think. Well, actually, the T could be this one or this one. Oh, no. O and U are here. O and U. Oh, the T has to be last, guys. The T has to be last. Actually, it ends in out. Something out. Something out. About? Could it be about? We haven't had a B, right? Yeah. Okay, you thought about. Clout. Clout doesn't work because we have to have an A here. Over here. Yeah, about makes the most sense. Actually, A has to be first. Yeah, about is the only... Well, it's not the only, but about makes sense. Nice, we got it. Yeah. Okay, there's 2 more left. This one is A something OR. A something OR. Got A something OR something. Okay. We also have a G. Yeah, we have a G and an... Well, we just have a G. Agora? Agora. Is that a common name in word games? I don't know. What does that even mean? Oh, agoraphobia, when you're scared of, like...
Agora.
Agora. A public open space used for assemblies and markets in ancient Greece. Ah. Agora. All right, let's assume that's Agora. Sorry, I don't have much faith in it. Assuming that that's Agora, what could this be? If we have an O here, a Y here, and now we know that there's a B. Booty. No, because there's no O here. So the B could be here, and if there was a G, where would the G be, you know? How would B and G make sense into this? It was the Wordle a few days ago. But even before that, Agora. I mean, we could guess it, right? We have extra guesses left. Yeah, we have extra guesses. Let's go Agora. Nice! You got it. Last word. Okay, there's no G. The last word is weird, man. There's a B, O, and a Y. The only thing we know of... Well, we know some stuff. We know there's a blank O, blank, blank Y. And there's a B somewhere. What letter haven't we used? Yes, we have to look at that as well. We've used A, B. I guess we didn't use... Oh, we used C. We used D, E, F, G. Where's H? I. We didn't use J. I don't think we used J. We used K, L, M, N, O, P. We didn't use J. We didn't use... Damn, you're quick. Q, U, V, W, X, Y. Yeah. Pretty much what you said. Q, Z, X, and J. I just got it. So, what words could fit with that? Oh, it shows it on the keyboard. Oh, that makes it so much easier. Oh, okay. I didn't notice that. Hey, I did the math in my head. I'm a smarty pants, okay? I'm dumb too, yeah. I didn't notice that until right now. So, bougie? Zubi? Scooby? I have no idea. What word could be this? We have. This is what we're looking at. I'm gonna type it out on chat. Bobby. Bro, if it's Bobby. If it's Bobby. I mean, it could be Bobby. Zombie with Y, cause yes. Let's try Bobby. It was Bobby. That's so dumb. Alright, we got it though. That was cool. That was a little long, but that was cool. Bobby is a name, no? Does it mean something? I feel like it might mean something.
Bobby.
A police officer in British. Well, there you go. It means famed or bright in German. Okay. Let's go, IQ plus. Let's go. I was close with Booby. You were. Once you said Bobby, I was like, wow, that might actually make sense because it's like intentionally they had it to like a B. That was fun. What was the Wordle? The global? Globy? Globy? What was it called that you guys were? And I think Cashew was saying that he was looking for it before. Well, it was like that there were two different ones. Global. Thank you. Global. Oh, yes. I didn't read it, but enter the name of your country to make your first guess. Wait, what is that? Every day there's a new mystery country. Each incorrect guess will appear. If the mystery country is Japan, following countries would appear with these countries. Oh, because South Korea is the closest to Japan, so it would be dark red. Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. I like that. I actually like that a lot. All right, let's do it. We gotta think of a country that's surrounded by a lot of countries. There's probably strats for this game, but maybe something in the middle of Africa. There's a lot of countries in Africa, or in the middle of Europe, or South America, Paraguay, Brazil. Those could work, but that's like only on the Western Hemisphere, really. I thought, but then Africa could be bad. Like countries in Africa could be bad too, because it's like in the middle, kind of. Brazil has 8 countries surrounding it. Yeah, but you gotta remember, like, the Republic of Congo has a bunch of countries around it. Paraguay and okay. The 2 times I played it was Africa because there's so many, but it was tough. Yeah, that's like Africa just makes sense to me also because, like, let's say we guess Bolivia or Paraguay. Let's say we guess Paraguay, and it's like on the other side of the earth. Like, we don't get anything. It doesn't have to do with borders, yeah. It's distances, yeah. I want to try Congo. I don't know if it'll let me do Congo or I have to type in Democratic. I'm going to try Congo. Sorry, guys. Ooh. Wait, red means that it's very close, right? Wait. Oh, okay. Red means that it's close, right? So it might be Africa, actually. There's way too many countries there. Yeah, gotta make them less. Huh. We could guess South Africa just to see if it's between them or like to the north or to the east. Right? You could guess like Egypt to see if it's in between that. We did Congo. Yeah, I wasn't thinking of Congo, by the way. I think I was thinking about something else that's like in the middle here. This is considered Republic of Congo. I want to do South Africa, but it's kind of close by. Like, Egypt is kind of further. So we might get a better... Let's try Egypt. Congo is different than Republic of Congo. But I typed in Congo, and it gave me Congo, and then if you hover over it, it says Republic of the Congo. There's like a democratic republic of something. Oh, maybe that's what's different. But that's way too close anyway. That's like smack in the center. That's what I was trying to do. I think you're right. But that's democratic something. Algeria is probably the most useful guess. Algeria might be good too, yeah. I want to try Egypt. Huh? Huh? Did the game bug out? It doesn't show me the color for Egypt. And I can't scroll in or anything. Well, why is that, guys? Oh, there it is. That was weird. You got Congo, but Democratic Congo has more countries surrounding it. But it doesn't matter about what's surrounding it. Okay, the point I did this is to see the distance. So if you look at the question mark, Egypt is further away. Since Egypt is further away, we know it's closer to Republic of Congo, which means it could actually be Democratic Republic of Congo, or I forget the names. But it also might be south. So I kind of want to try something south, because if we guess here, let's try South Africa. Yeah. Oh, that's further away. Okay, so it's definitely like, well, it's not definitely anything, but it could be north. Sudan is south here, no? Isn't Sudan like here? Sudan seems too far. Algeria might be good. Algeria, I think, is like northwest, no? I don't remember. I used to know geography so well. It might actually be Democratic Republic of, or there's Ubuntu. I forgot what it was called. Like Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast is like here. I don't know if it's. I'm gonna try Ivory Coast. Morocco. I want to try Ivory Coast. Oh, we're mad close. Okay. So we're really close now. I have to keep looking at this for reference, the colors, but it's definitely somewhere here now. Guinea? Ooh, it could be Guinea actually. Ghana? I don't remember where Ghana is. Is Ghana around here? Guinea is. I was typing Guinea in the. Let's try Guinea. Oh no, it's further away. So it's on the right side. There's like this small, very small country here. I don't remember what it was. Huh. It definitely means it's to the right or to the top right of it. Ghana is to the right of Ivory. Oh, let's try Ghana then. Ooh, what's to the right of Ghana? That might be the answer. Sing for the laughter, sing for the tear. I keep thinking it's like to the top right though, just because this is not that dark. So like whatever's to the top right over here might be the country. My Western African, it freezes a lot. Knowledge is not as strong as I used to be. Huh. Dream, I'll tell you, dream comes true. Togo. Yeah. Is it Togo? Did you look it up? It might actually be Togo. Let's see. Oh my god. What's to the right of Togo? I knew that there was a small country there. After this, I want to look at a map. I don't remember, bro. Damn, look at you guys. All right, this must be the answer. What? Oh, the mystery country. Okay, cool. Average guesses needed. 8. You could only do one a day, though. Can you, like, look at previous ones? I want to do more of this. This is fun. Benin. Global, but global unlimited? Unlimited data plan? What? Oh, God. Global. Do Wordle. It's similar, but a different format. Okay. Wordle. Wordle. You're gonna go eat? See you later. Later. Oh, I can't speak English. Wordle. Where's Wordle? World or geography game? You have to stop Google from correcting you. Oh, here it is. Wordle. Okay. Oh, you guessed the country as it shows? I'm gonna feel like a dumbass. Alright, well, I'm guessing that's what this is, yeah? You guessed Chile. The target countries in the northeast, and you have. So is it based off the map? I feel like this looks like either Central America or like Dominican Republic, Haiti. I can't tell. Oh, I haven't looked at a map in a while since like GeoGuessr. GeoGuessr was really fun, guys. I gotta do a versus in GeoGuessr, but GeoGuessr is subscription based. Doesn't look like Central America, so it could be Dominican Republic. I don't know. Let's think big countries first. It's not the U.S. It's not Mexico. It's not Brazil, Argentina, Canada. I don't think it's on the Western Hemisphere. Well, I mean, I guess it could be. It could be like one of the islands, Dominican Republic or whatever. But it doesn't look like a European country. It looks like it's out in the water. You know. I'm gonna try Dominican Republic. Dominican. Oh, Dominicana. Dominican Republic. Oh. Wait, does that mean we're really close? 92% or really far? Oh, that means we're really close. Wait, so is it Haiti? I don't remember. Should I guess Haiti, guys? Oh, we could look at all the countries, huh? I kind of want to guess Haiti. I thought Haiti was smaller though. Oh, even closer. What? What's closer to Haiti? Cuba? Is Cuba? Is it Cuba? Haiti is half an hour. Yeah, that's why I didn't want to guess Haiti. I knew Haiti was small. Yeah, I'm thinking Cuba too. It's as close to Cuba as it is to Haiti. What the heck? I just tried this, but I don't know enough about world countries. I'm actually surprised that I know kind of where it is. It's like southeast of the US. Florida. Florida sideways. It's not anything on the Eastern Hemisphere. It's on the Western Hemisphere. It's probably a colony that the Spanish had control over in the past, and now it's a country. Like one of those islands, like Barbados? Maybe Barbados? Barbados is around there. See, I went on a cruise trip a couple years ago when I was younger, when my uncle used to be rich. Now he's broke, and and for his wedding, he went on a cruise trip with everyone, and we went to Dominican Republic. Not the Dominican Republic. We went to Barbados and a bunch of small islands. But I don't think it's that close to like Cuba and Haiti. And then I went to the Dominican Republic before as well. Let's try Barbados since no one is guessing anything in chat. Oh my god. They're all around there. There's so many like small islands there. Saint Why did we guess Cuba? I thought it was up. Well, it's close to Cuba. Cuba is down. No. Oh, it shows the direction. Oh, I just realized. It's saying, oh my god. Yeah, we're dumb. Well, I'm dumb. I didn't realize. It's to the bottom left of Dominican Republic. Oh, then I wouldn't have guessed Haiti because that's like, what? Well, maybe. And then Cuba. It's to the down. It's south of Cuba, southwest of Dominican Republic, and west of Barbados. I'm telling you, it's one of those. Jamaica? I don't know. I don't know where. I don't remember where Jamaica is. I have a friend who's from Jamaica. I should know. I don't think it's Jamaica though. The shape puzzles me. The shape looks like an island. I'm thinking it's one of the saints, like Saint Martin, Saint. Oh, it's not Saint Martin. Saint Martin's in Europe. I know that because I edited a GeoGuessr video for YouTube, and I screwed that up. Saint. All right, look. It's from the Island Boy. What's up, Triple G? What island? What do you think this is? What's the Island Boy? We're so close to it. Barbados, west of Barbados, south of Cuba, southwest of Haiti and Dominican Republic. Wait, it's west of Barbados. Maybe. Dude, it's a TikTok thing. I don't care about TikTok, bro. Unless people from TikTok watch me on Twitch, like find me through TikTok, then I care about it. Island Boys? Oh, Jamaica makes sense. All right, let's just go Jamaica. It's south of Jamaica. I kind of feel dumb not knowing where Jamaica is. I want to look it up, but Jamaica. It's kind of cheating, right? Oh. It might actually be in Central America. Bro, Epicuro, you said it doesn't look like Central America. You lied to me. It looks like Central America, man. Oh my god. I would have guessed Central American countries. It looks like Panama or something. Should I guess Panama? I didn't look at the map that much. I wanna guess Panama. How you doing, Triple G, though? I've seen you've been posting a lot of YouTube vids lately, which is really cool. But nice. To go Panama or to not? Being south from Jamaica showed it clearly? Oh. Well, I'm gonna guess Panama. Oh, yeah! Bro, I was gonna guess Panama first. But it's because Epicuro, I trusted you. Come on, bro. You should have known that better than me. It's near all the Spanish-speaking countries. Nah, it's not your fault. We still won, so it's okay. Oh, it shows you on Google Maps? Yeah, that was my first guess, because it looks like the Panama. But let me look at this more. So, south of Florida is the Bahamas. Then you have Cuba. Santa Domingo. Oh, that's the capital of Dominican Republic, Haiti. Yeah, I thought it was showing either this or Panama. That was my guess. Punta Cana, that's where I was. I was in Punta Cana. We got Puerto Rico, British Virgin Islands, Dominica, Montserrat, St. Lucia, Barbados. Yeah, I guess Barbados. It was west of Barbados. Trinidad. I have a friend whose mom is from Trinidad. Actually, the friend I called for the video today, for the street, like the thing earlier. Yeah. Interesting. Panama. No, I guess I knew how this was shaped pretty decently because of just learning about the Panama Canal in school, and then like remembering that like they actually made this, right? To connect. Didn't they make it to connect North and South America? I don't know. Actually, I really like geography type games. It's fun. You guys got any other ones? What is the roundest country? It's literally to the left of my... Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Just one a week? Bro, one a week is more than enough. If they're good videos. And I'll say they're good videos. I like them. I mean, you could probably add background music to make them better, to be honest. But they're good videos. I like them. And they're also good ideas. What is the roundest country? What is the roundest country? Like the most circular? Spain? I don't know. Spain is like in my head, just Spain pops up as like, let's see. What is the roundest country? Sierra Leone. Ah. Spain's like a triangle. No, it isn't. It's like a square, no? Spain geography. Like a square. Yeah. Oh. I mean, if you count Portugal, it's a square. Sierra Leone, I miss her. Huh. I'm kind of African countries. African countries map. No, I don't want to buy African countries. All right. Nice. That is not okay. It's so hard to see. Okay. Right. Okay, so you got Democratic Republic of Congo, then you got Congo, and then you have Central African Republic. I was thinking of Central African Republic, to be honest. Tanzania, Somalia, Sudan is here. That's why I didn't guess it. Because we had Egypt already. And Congo. These I always forget. Ivory Coast is easy to remember, though. Liberia, Sierra Leone. Yeah, this does look circular. Guinea was here. Senegal, Mauritania, Western Sahara, Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, Libya, South Africa, Madagascar, Malawi, Zambia, Zimbabwe. I used to know all of this, damn. I do recognize most of them, though. The West Africa gets a bit tricky because there's so many little ones. What country could you buy? Probably a decent amount of them. What country can you buy? Well, you could buy islands, and some islands are countries. So you can go to Sealand and declare your independence. Oh, I saw a video on that, I think. Liechtenstein. Oh, some family bought Liechtenstein. I think it would probably be much harder right now to buy a country, but yeah. What non-island country could one buy? I don't think an individual could buy a country. I mean, unless the government of that country is willing to give it up. Or like there's certain independent lands, like Sealand, which is literally a family living there. So I'm sure if you went there and you said, I'll give you $5 million, like you could buy that country. Even millionaires could probably buy like very tiny country. But those aren't really, how do you define a country, right? Like those territories are like a few families live there. It's nothing crazy. I want to do more geography games. Geography games like Wordle. Geography-based game. Pump all your money into rubles, then get rich quick when the value comes back up. Then buy the earth. Assuming that the value comes back up, right? Bro, I don't know, man. The ruble lost the most it ever... It lost 30%, I think, and then it went back up a little bit, but let's see what it is right now. To people who say sanctions do nothing, show them this map. It went from 0.013 to 0.009. And that seems like nothing, but that's quite a big difference. You got to look at percentage, I guess, also. The 0.00 and how stable things are. So you see, it barely moves. The past 5 years, it was 0.0017. It got weaker against the US currency. And then with everything going on now, it dropped like crazy, bro. So, GeoGuessr is awesome. It just costs money. I could buy it though. It is fun. Here, or you could. Oh no, you could play free for an X amount of stuff or something. Yeah, let's do GeoGuessr. I don't remember my login info. I think you have a X amount of games for free. Let me check it out. It's been on a decline though, but you have to look. Ruble against dollar. It's been on a decline, true, but the amount that it's declined is 0.001. So if you look, let's look at max, right? It went up. This is the recession, 2008. Everything crashed. It crashed like crazy. It went down what? A huge percentage, right? Goes to 0.03. Basically, the 1,000th place moves a little bit, right? Like it never moves the 100th place. Well, here it moves the 100th place, but it's like very slowly that it goes down. In 2014, sanctions, Obama put sanctions and other countries put sanctions on Putin for invading Crimea. Also in 2008. So the recession and Georgia, they attacked Georgia. I don't know if there were sanctions then. But 2014, was Crimea. And my assumption would be this is because of Crimea. And then they stayed stable, and now this is the most recent stuff. It dropped more in the recession, so they'll be fine. I don't know. The ruble is worth like almost nothing. Honestly, I thought it was more comparable to the US. No. Less of a drop than I thought. Oh, this isn't a big drop, guys. But I mean, well, this is comparing to the US dollar, so. But the US dollar is 88% of financial transactions in foreign exchange markets are with the US dollar, so it's good to look at this. You got to remember also, not all the effects have gone through yet from sanctions. It's not like you do sanctions and the next day everything's different. Plus, the Russian economy closed. Russian stock market. I don't know if it's open now. Russian stock market open? It actually closed. Yeah, it stayed closed for a 4th day. Longest pause since 1998. London listed Russian stocks are collapsed. I think this is legit. Like, I think a lot of businesses are gonna go out. I don't know if I would invest in the ruble. But I mean, it's a gamble. It might be good compared to Mexican peso. Ruble versus peso. There's a lot of pesos. 1 Russian ruble equals 0.19 peso. There's no recovery there. It goes down, then stabilizes. Yeah, that's the crazy part. So like the ruble hasn't recovered since arguably pre-financial recession of 2008, which is insane, right? But it's because the US dollar has been performing like it's against the USD, that's why. I was mostly trolling, but yeah, it looks even dumber than I thought. Rip Russia though. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens, right? I've been reading a lot about the Ukraine-Russia stuff. Okay. GeoGuessr. I was looking on my phone for the thing. Oh, wait. I might as well remove this song. Why do you hate Crazy Frog so much? It is kind of annoying after a while, but... Okay, GeoGuessr. GeoGuessr. Your pro subscription has expired. Ping Pong Masters. Just gave away everything. You guys remember my password? I think this was my password. No, it's not my password. Damn it, I don't remember my password. Let me resend my password. It doesn't have a show password button, so I can't. My keyboard is also screwed up. I really don't like it, but I always leave to you whether to remove it or not. I mean, I don't love it so much. Like, if you really don't like it, I don't mind skipping it. Play Wordle for your password. Same as your birthday, then home address. Thanks. I'll make that my new password. My SSN. Wait, can you make your own Wordles? Because if you could, we could do some cool stuff with that as like a YouTube video type thing. Especially since Wordle is big now. You know what else is big? My pee-pee. No, it's regular size. I guess you guys could stare at my face. I'm moving my foot pedal back. So you guys could stare at my face while I sign in. How does it look? I went to a dentist yesterday. How's it look? Hey, it worked. Okay. Have you played the Kirby demo? No, I didn't even know they had a demo. Mario Cartel. I did forget about Mario Cartel, actually. If I were a rich man. If I were a rich man. No. That's a good song. Jewish song, I think. Oh yeah, let's play. 5 minutes of free play. Let's play. What does this look like, guys? Georgia? The country or the state? Privat parkering. That sounds like Slavic. Oh, it says .no. What's .no? Noland? Poland? Norway? Oh, Norway. Yeah, Norway makes sense. Norway. They're always like Nordic countries, I swear. Alright. Let's guess Norway. Let's go! That was mad good. Good job. This looks cool. Madruga. Madruga? That sounds Russian, but it also... Oh, RT. There's graffiti. But it also sounds Spanish. It's definitely Spanish. It says pare. That's Spanish? Yeah. Well, at least you know that one now. I'm just joking. Oh, the name of the school, maybe. Where was it? Wasn't there a name somewhere? Does this look like Argentina? What does this look like? Oh, the cars. The people. She's pretty cute. Read the sign. It said pare. No? Oh, there was another sign? Oh, I missed it. I don't know. This is so confusing. I already went this way. Spanish is so hard because there's so many Spanish-speaking countries. But then Spanish in Spain is different than Spanish in other areas, right? Not Spain yet, but Spanish. That's the thing. Like, if you guess Spain, there's so many more like opportunities that it's on the other side of the world. Rua Morro Agudo. Does this tell anyone anything? Nor Islam. No, wait. I missed that message. We have 2 minutes until the game ends. I think it's South America somewhere. I'm just gonna put like... I almost put Brazil, but Brazil is Portuguese, right? I'm put in the middle of... Ooh! It was in Brazil. Don't they speak... Oh, it was very mountainous. That's a good point. Wait, don't they speak Portuguese in Brazil? Or am I like dumb? Was that Portuguese? This all looks like Spanish, though. Oh, we only have 2 minutes on the thing. I'm dumb. Bro, like, stuff like this is just like, what the hell, man? Is that a farmer? I don't know. They speak Portuguese. Yeah, that's what I thought. This is near you? Alright, this is near Dinella, apparently. So... we're just gonna go in the middle of California. Bro, you lied. I would have never guessed that. Do you guys even know what that is? Oh, of course. It's like the Italian play, like. Oh, there's a sign. That's why it said RUA. Oh. I tried Cali, Dino. I can't read that sign. I could stream just chatting all day and make thousands a month. I'd be very lazy with my content. Morignac. What does that sound like? Italian? I don't know. Is this like the same place? They look a lot like Cali in my defense. Was that a... Is someone biking? What is that? Is that a dildo? The hell is that? It's a tank. French? Ooh, French. There's a shadow of the camera? Oh. Are you guys saying it's France? Ooh! Bro, let's go! Your 5 minutes has ended. I'll upgrade. It's 24 bucks yearly. That's not much, but I actually like this game a lot, but let's do it. Shadow doof. I know, I was just joking around. Hey, what's up, Aqua? Hop sauce. I already paid. It's okay. GeoGuessr is fun, like for to play against people anyway. But let's try out hop sauce for now. How you doing, Aqua? Pop sauce. What is this? Oh, oh, you did mention this before. Private. Huh? Is this a geography game? I didn't realize this is a geography game. That's the link for anyone who wants to play, I guess. Only challenges messages. Oh, you could pick geography. All right, let's do that. Mainstream? No, let's just go geography. Fastest answers get more points. The song is actually a bit annoying. Because it's Yiddish people. I'm just joking. What the other players? Alright, that looks fine. Join game. I need at least one more player. Let's go. Aqua's in here. You guys have 12 seconds to join if you would like to. You don't have to join, obviously, but... Doctor joined. I'll give you guys a little bit more time. 15 seconds left. Synagogue. Epicuro joins. Well, it says Epicuro joined. I don't see him on the list. How long does one round take? I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is either. Oh, there he is. Epicuro's there. Same. Oh, I don't know. Oh, don't tell me they're flags, bro. I don't know flags at all. I don't know flags at all. What the hell is this? Europe. Montenegro? Don't tell me it's all flags. Oh my god. What? Oh. Do you have 10 seconds to guess? I'm a genius. Oh, you had to... Aqua, yeah, you had to spell it out. That's so stupid. You can admire Bagan, the Valley of 2,000 Temples. Huh? Bagan doesn't sound Russian. It sounds like... It looks like Incan Empire or something, you know? Mexico. Myanmar. Oh. Bro, we don't know anything. I picked this game and I suck. Oh my god, I don't remember these, bro. They all look we all guessed France. All of them look the same, bro. They're all like the same colors. I don't know. France? I'm trash too, doctor. Netherlands. Nice, Epicuro. The one that's not American got it, of course. Jacob Sewell. Israel? Jacob sounds like a Hebrew, like a name from the Bible or something. I have no idea. Ukraine? Yeah, I tried Israel too. United States, bruh. I would have never guessed United States. Oh, this is a South American country, or like one of the islands, I feel. Lol. Saint Martin, Dominican Republic, Haiti. I'm so bad. I don't know flags at all. I don't know about you guys. Well, I do know about you guys. None of you guys are guessing it. Liechtenstein. Oh, it's in Europe. In which country can we admire the Love Valley? That looks like penises. Penis country? Dicks. All of us thought penis, and Aqua was like, I'm not going to engage in that. I have no idea. England? Turkey. Okay. That's a food. The 12 apostles. Isn't this in the Bible or something? I don't know. Israel, Egypt, Jordan, Palestine, Cuba. What? Australia? Australia? Bro, I feel dumb. I don't know. This looks like an island that the British captured. Can we go back to GeoGuessr? I was just joking, but it's not Australia. It's Iceland. India? No, India has Bangladesh. Italy. No, Italy is different. Mexico. It does look like Ireland. Ireland has orange and green. I'm gonna choose a different category instead. Oh, it's the first to 100 points. Ivory Coast. African country. Spain. Finally. Finally one I know. I shouldn't have said it out loud. But I mean, nah, we could play this till the end and then do a different category. I thought geography would like show us a map or something. Oh, this is one of the saints. Or Haiti or Cuba. This is one of them. Barbados. I always guess the same things. You gotta think about Malaysia. I knew that. I had a Malaysian friend. That's not why I knew that, but these countries all look like countries I feel like I should stars. Starlandia, Singapore. Yeah, it looks like Thailand, Singapore type thing. Taiwan? I don't know. Samoa. Another African country, I think, right? What the hell is that? Me and Aqua said, what the F? And Doctor said, bruh. What a dumb looking flag. What type of, why? Why? Central Africa. Oh, it says something. It says pause, which means peace. Hey, welcome back, Dino. How was your food? Paz means peace and something. Equatorial Guinea. All the African countries. No one knows the flags. Oh. I feel like I've seen this one before. I don't know. Chad. Republic of South Sudan. Okay, South Sudan is fairly new, so. What is this, Vatican? Oh, you can join mid-game? Oh, okay, cool. Here you go. The hell is that? Switzerland, but better. Red Cross. Malta. I would have never guessed that. We both guess Egypt. It's like sand, Egypt. It could be Australia. Bruh. What is that? India? It must be a African country. New York, Mexico. Ireland. And those are Ireland's colors. That's weird, man. Republic of a word that I can't say or I get banned off of Twitch. Ooh. It's not Saudi Arabia. But it's definitely Arabic. I don't think it's Palestine. Persia's not a country. Republic of Somaliland. Is that in Africa? Northern Africa? Bro, this is a triangle, bro. Bro, they're playing with us. This is a V. Brazil. Maybe it is a South American country. It looks like, and I'm gonna guess African country or an island. Whenever I don't know, like it looks completely soccer the game. FIFA. Saint Vincent and the oh my god. Oh, I know this one. Not Britain though. Damn, if Pikuro knows flags, well, kinda. It looks like Poland or something. There, Canada without the weed symbol. What the hell is that? Peru. Oh, I should have known. Epicuro would know because it's in South America. A colony of the British. The hell is probably some weird island. Some random island, I mean. Paris. That is not the Philippines. Why would you have your flag as just a yellow rectangle that you can make on Photoshop? What is that? Huh? I've never heard of that in my life. Niue. Or maybe I have. Bro, these are like small islands, bro. Small islands. NASA. Never seen these flags. Yeah, these are like flags of countries that probably are like not even considered independent or something. St. Lucia. Oh, the Marshall Islands. Alright, bro. Somewhere in South America, because that's the sun. Philippines. You spell Philippines wrong. Actually, that kind of does look like Philippines. It was Philippines. I saw Aqua spell it wrong, and I was like, that kind of looks like it. And I type it in, and I got it right. That's hilarious. Mars. Sudan. Oh, we already had South Sudan, but I'm putting it anyway. Bulgaria. Somalia? East Timor. Oh, is this Sealand? Whoa, Epicuro knows it. Which means Ecuador, Nicaragua, Uruguay. And it has to be one of these. Slovakia. My uncle's wife is Slovakian. Doesn't mean anything. I don't know how I knew it. Oh. Oh. Oh, come on. I saw that late. I didn't expect an easy one. Aqua, you got this. I'll give you a hint. Ukraine. Eh. I gave you a hint. Ukraine. Oh, maybe you don't hear me. That one was easy. I suck. Low. It's okay. America. It looks like Kyrgyzstan or something. I heard you after the time. What's up? Ah, I see. I forget there's a delay. Jordan. Oh. It did look familiar to me. Myanmar Beachy Head? I don't know, bro. Australians are weird. Nope. Finland. Switzerland. Sweden. USA. Britain. I'm just gonna guess. England. I guess Britain last second. Those is shoes. Oh, finally. The only one we all knew right away. That's hilarious. By the way, for anyone wondering, my camera is blocking where they're guessing, but I have no idea what that is. I'm gonna guess somewhere in Africa. Chad! It was somewhere in Africa. The colorful ones. What the hell is that, bro? Whoa, Doctor knew it? Wait, was that? It was! It actually was. It's not even really a country, Aqua. It's one of the smallest countries in the world. I've been there. Let's go. Damn. Dino has joined. Oh. Let's go. You guys didn't read the thing. What big city? Not what country. Let's go. I shouldn't be giving them hints, right, Aqua? My bad, my bad. Dinell even said the answer in the chat. Hello there. Cali represent. What's up, Cortez? How you doing? Yeah, that's very American-centric, though. Huh? I mean, not really, I guess, because they're asking questions like this, too. It looks Chinese. Huh. You want to play, Cortez? That's so cool. Italy. That is very cool, actually, yeah. Jesus Christ. Oh, this looks so familiar. What is this? This looks so familiar. Why'd you pick a non-Christian country? I don't know. You can't give the answers, Dinell. Why don't you join the game? Oh, maybe you have to finish to join? Yeah. It's south. Oh, there you go. Yeah, join. You gave me the answer. Yeah, you were right, Cortez. Cortez, you should, well, you should join if you want to also. You could guess whenever you want and then, like, do stuff in the background. Hello there. Hey, what's up, Fair? I saw you were streaming earlier, but I was busy, unfortunately. I wanted to check it out. You playing RuneScape? Oh, okay. How you doing, Fairy? Tunisia. For anyone who wants to join, here's the link. How is this one in English? Epicuro knows goddamn countries. Epicuro is like about to win, essentially. Okay, Dinell knows countries too. I don't know what that is. Chad? Portugal. Is that how Portugal looks? Oh. Me and my flamer were playing Mario Kart. Yeah, I saw it when I clicked on your stream. You said we'll be back in 10 to 15 minutes. And I waited a little and then I had to go. This is a Middle Eastern country? It has a lot of stars. Uzbekistan. I just want Epicuro to win already. Australia. This is one of them islands. I know many European and all South American flags. As for Africa and Asia, barely nothing. I don't know any. I don't know flags at all, pretty much. Ooh, Fairy just joined. Can we do like a different set of things? Tuvalu. Oh, I've seen a video on Tuvalu. Plitvice Lakes Park. Yeah. I'm just guessing a bunch of countries. How'd the stream go? Yeah, Tuvalu is really cool. Almera. Andorra? Syria. It does look like something that would be in Syria. Huh? Okay. South American flag. The Americans are the Americans don't know, and the non-Americans do. Scotland? I feel dumb. My editor is Scottish. Lol, JK. Okay. All right, let's is there a way to do There's a category just for flags. So why does geography give so many flags? We could do different categories. Yo, Pokemon. Let's try 1980s. I have no idea what that means. Okay, guys? I'm going to try 1980s. Yeah, I changed the category. New set. The new set is 1980s. The link will be in the on the channel. And the game will start in 14 seconds. So Aqua can join 14. Cortez, but Cortez is playing RuneScape. We got Dinell, Doctor, me, and Fairy as of now. Epicuro could join if he would like to. I don't know. It just says 80s. It literally just says 1980s. I have no idea what it means. Epicuro is in. Aqua is in. Okay, cool. Round starts the 1980s. I don't know the 80s. You know what? Let's make it so first player to get... Oh, it's too late. Never mind. This button telling me to join the game. Lol. What's up, Chris? You missed the stream with Lando, but how you doing? Wait, did I stop the recording? Oh, I did. Okay, good. Time Masters. How you doing, Chris? We're doing some cool games. That's a British band. The Beatles. I feel like I know 80s. But that's not the Beatles. Yo, Chris, if you want to join this game, if your Mexican internet allows it, then you can join. How you doing, Chris? That's AC/DC? Wait, really? Wait, I saw Brian May live, and I didn't even recognize him there. I'm such an idiot. It was fun. It was fun. He beat me. You know, it was fun. Great Scott. Great Scott. What is this? Doctor Who or something? Dinell thought Doctor Who too. Oh, Back to the Future. 80s never been there. What movie is this taken from? What's it called? Is it Home Alone? Oh, never know. I don't know what this is. Bro, I don't know anything. If you want to play, Chris, you could join in. The Shining? Is that what it is? Oh. Cortez was right. I don't know. I didn't know you could fly a plane. Fly? Yes. Land? No. Bro, I don't know movies. This is dumb. Well, I don't know much about anything. Movie. Airplane is a good movie, but that's from way before 1980s, no? Probably the Maverick one with Tom Cruise. Top Gun. Indiana Jones? It's not Airplane, yeah. Wait, what? What? Why does it look like fake Mario? New game. What the hell is that? I don't know, man. Put like a Mario. I love how we all have the same one impression of it. Wonder Boy 3. We're all too young for it. Oh. That's not Top Gun? Guns. This looks so familiar. I don't remember the name. If you got it, come play the game, bro. Play the game. Pulp Fiction? That's a different black guy, but good guess. I think. Lethal Weapon. I recognized it, but I don't know things well. Maybe we'll come back to Earth. Who can tell? I don't know. We're leaving together, but still it's farewell. And maybe the final countdown. I didn't even think of that, bro. Damn, I feel dumb. Cars. Back to the... It does look like a Back to the Future type car. Grease. He does look like a Grease type guy. Cars 2. I don't know what that is, man. Knight Rider. Ah, I think I know the song from that. Kill comes from prefer green car. I'm gonna carve him up real nice. Is it ignore? Ignore. What's the name? Bastards. Scarface. I think I've seen Scar. The Expendables is not the 80s. 88 miles per hour. Huh? Speed limit in Kentucky. What's that show where they always drive? They have like 10 goddamn movies. Oh. It was finally Back to the Future. Oh. Nope. I was so confident in that. That's not Friends. Hey, Victor. I have no idea. Little Women. That's not very polite, Aqua. Ethers. American black comedy teen film. Oh! Oh, I've seen this. I think. What is this? This looks so rats. Wait, this looks so familiar. This looks like a cartoon I saw when I was young. Or maybe I'm totally making this up, but it looks so familiar. Smoke Signals? The Great Mouse. Oh, I don't know that. Aqua knew it though. That's cool. Oh. Rocky. That's all I could think of. Well, there's an American flag on the wall. Sherlock Holmes. This is not Sherlock Holmes. One Punch Man. Yeah, we all thought Rocky. Rocco. Raging Bull. Oh. I recognize a lot of these names or visuals, but I don't know the actual stuff. When girls used to wear those shorts in the 80s, you remember that, guys? Oh, wait. We were all dead. We weren't alive, I mean. Most of us, probably. Baseball. Halloween. Sad Girl. If you got Sad Girl, that would be crazy. Sleepaway Camp. Bro, I have 0 points. Oh! No, I know this! No, I listen to the song all the time! I know who it's by. Oh! I don't drink coffee. What? It's I drink tear, my dear, no? I take D, my dear? I drink tear, my dear. I actually knew that one! That's bullshit! That's by Sting. That's a song by Sting. Did you know anime is a category? It is? Yeah, you shouldn't have encouraged me. I'm too young for this. Angel Heart, yeah. Cult, Inception. Dirty Harry. Oh. Huh? You're down for anime? You guys down for anime? Is this Mario Kart? I think you're trying to say something, yeah? Magic versus magic. This looks so stupid. Golden. Oh, Golden Axe is actually an old. I've heard of it. I didn't know that's how it looks. Harrison Ford. How's that not Star Wars? You have to be specific with the. Oh, there would be spoiler possibility. Yeah, actually, I don't know if I would want to do Mario anime either. Oh, Blade Runner. See, these are all shows or movies that I've heard of, but no. Okay, finally. I finally got points. Oh. That's like the most obvious one so far. If Aqua doesn't get this, how? How? Aqua, how? Back to the Future. Have you never watched Back to the Future? Alright, what is this? Caveman? Fire. Person. People. Stone Age. Planet of the Apes? It's not even. Quest for. Oh, you were close with fire. Typing on phone? Oh, damn. And you're still winning. Ice Age live action. Sexism? Shots fired. The day before Christmas. National Lampoon's something. Christian? I was too slow. That was the answer 3 times already in this game. Santa Claus is a stinker. A French comedy. French comedies are. Oh, this looks familiar. Ooh, look at them knowing it so quickly. Okay, apparently everyone knows this. The hell is this? Gremlins. Oh. Okay. What is this? Aladdin? Snoopy. Pokemon. Dumbo. It looks cool, actually. Hansel and Gretel. All right. Metallica. Oh, I don't listen to Metallica much. Why should it be Metallica? We all tried Metallica. Blind Justice. Ooh, that sounds so good. If it's not And Justice for All. Oh, Blind Justice sounds better. Fairy, you had a better name. You want to play rough? Say hello to my little friend. Wait, everyone knows that. Say hello to my little friend. That's with the Arnold Schwartz, right? Where he's a robot. Fortnite and Ace Ventura is a good. Yeah, I thought Terminator. Oh, Scarface. I thought Terminator. I haven't watched Scarface in a long time. Oh, huh? Yeah, I thought they said that in Terminator, right, Cortez? What is this, though? Banana Joe. The hell, Jumanji? You were close with Banana, Epicuro. Do or do not. There is no try. What? Oh my god. It's a philosopher. Albert Einstein. A New Hope. Try. Star Wars, The Empire Strikes. Yoda. Oh, to be or not to be, Shakespeare. Yoda. Welcome back, Chris. How you doing, bro? You got the question wrong? That makes sense, yeah. Is this the one where they have like 10 children? Why is there an Asian kid there? Nothing against Asians, but The Goonies. Homeless kids. See, that's another one I recognize by the name. Star Trek. Oh, huh? Isn't that the comedian guy? Why do you all know this? Oh, that's Ghostbusters? That's why you guys all know it. Robin Williams. Ooh, Fairy knows the movies. I'm losing faith in Pang. I don't know much, okay? Oh. What? How is that not Alice in Wonderland? No, we had Ghostbusters already. How is this Ghostbusters? Each and every day. Unless you're that far back. The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. I read the book. Winnie the Pooh. Naruto. Oh my god. Wait. This looks so familiar. And Chris, don't guess. That gives away the answer. Join the game if you want to guess. That looks so familiar. Dogs. Fox and the Hound. Yeah, I feel like I read a story when I was a kid or something. I don't know names of stuff, okay, Fairy? You're close. Led Zeppelin? I don't know. Burning Man. Concerts have names? Oh, it says what was this concert called? Crossing Road? Day on the Grand. Oh, I don't know that. Isn't that the scary guy? Freddy? Yeah, that's what I thought. And it don't even know. It? Scarface. The hash-slinging slasher? Slasher? A Nightmare. You see, another... I know the name, but... Ask caution for mercy and he'll throw you a rope. The hell is this? Racism? Karate Kid? Mortal Kombat. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter, actually. Rocky? I don't watch SpongeBob. I'm sorry, Cortez. I'm not a SpongeBob boy. Kickboxer. Oh my god. Someone could have actually guessed that by accident. I'm sorry, Cortez. What is this? Harry Potter? It didn't come out in the 80s, but... Men in Black. I was so close. What? Kickboxer. White Flight? Why is that so funny? Dead Poets Society. This is a classic American movie. I've seen Harry Potter. I just didn't know what it was. Forrest Gump. He has a Godfather. Come on, guys. Mad Men. That in the 80s. The Untouchables. I know all of these names, and I've seen some of these movies. I just don't recognize it. Okay, what the hell is that? That looks ugly as hell. This is an anime. Ew. I'm being so mean. Have you ever seen Harry Potter? Yeah, I've seen Harry Potter. Yeah, I don't think any of us knew that one. Naruto. Anytime Aqua sees anime, she puts Naruto. Oh, I know this. I know this one. I know this one. The genius kid. He's a genius kid. He's like the mathematician kid. I watched this movie. Guys, I watched this movie. I know this one. I know this. Oh, I didn't know that. No, I didn't know that. Yeah, I thought it was Good Will Hunting. It was not. I got... Alright, let's do a different... These categories suck ass. For me, because I suck ass. Anime and manga? Game of Thrones. Yo, we gotta do one for the memes. We'll do first to 50, though. Pokemon, because I know not everyone knows Pokemon, so we'll just do first to 50. I know Aqua might be like, ugh, Pokemon. So we'll just do first to 50 here. We literally saw it. Yeah, we saw it earlier. It just looked like a classroom setting and for Good Will Hunting. Oh, Machoke. Bro, I don't know anything. Oh my god. Machamp? Machoke? Machoke, my dick, what is this? Machop, bro. Why is the timer so fast? I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna win this. My profile picture is Pokemon. Okay. Tiger Squirrel. It ends in 9. Epicuro is also a big Pokemon fan, so it's kind of unfair. It's okay. We'll win really quick and we'll do another category. Oh, I'm gonna lose. I forgot my choke. Oh, I don't remember. Something with an E? Arcanine Tails. Something with an E, I feel like. Fuck off. Ash. Shut up, Chris. You don't know who that is. Oh, Erica. Yeah. Erica. Grass type. It's hard to spell them, bro. How'd you spell it so fast? Oh, I got it. Epicuro is gonna win. It's Executor. Yeah. Doctor is close. And Fairy. And Aqua says pineapple. It's a really weird spelling, I feel like. No, I spelled it wrong. Ugh, there's no G. You guys could just see how me and Epicuro spell. Oh, Fairy got it this time, not Epicuro. It's similar to where it's not Bellsprout. Aqua is closest. It's Pearfish. It's Weepin', no Space Fairy. Or Epicuro was there? Or Fairy? No! I knew that right away. I was just thinking of what I was saying before. Oh, Fairy, you know a lot of Pokemon. Radish. That's not even a radish. Big hand pigeon. Guys, it's far fetched. The space counted? That's kind of weird. Ugh, you're so quick. Even Doctor knew this. Polygon. It's like I almost typed Polygon. I'm waiting for Pikachu. Block it. Just type out Pikachu Aqua so you can copy paste it if it ends up being Pikachu. Come on. What do we got? Damn it. Epicuro, you're just slightly faster than me. Can I join for Pokemon in like 10 minutes? I don't know if we'll do it in 20, but maybe, yeah. Phone makes me sad. Just remind me in 20 minutes, and maybe we'll do a quick round of Pokemon again. Phone makes me sad. Next round, I'm moving to laptop. Nice. Me too, Aqua. Epicuro. One, you're too close to me. Alright, no more Pokemon, don't worry. What do we got? Chris, oh my god. You know how to trigger me. You just say something is easy all the time. Alright, let's do music. First to 50, I think, is better. Let's do music. Give me a second. Alright. I'll go get water, actually, so you guys have time, I guess. I found this guy who was streaming, and for his break screen, he puts up his clips. I'm gonna make that happen. That seems like such a amazing idea. Streamer back. Reset, bro. A fat strat? What? Like, what's more generally, like 2000s? I have no idea what the music is gonna be. You can add more than one? Mainstream music? Sure. Oh, it combines both. Okay, let's do mainstream and music. We got 5 people. We're missing Doctor. Doctor, you popping in? Chris, you popping in? I'll put the link in chat again in case anyone wants to pop in. What is this game called again? Something with a PP, right? Might as well add it for the category. Hop sauce, thank you. Oh, it's the category on Twitch. All right, let's change to that category, I guess. All right. Yup, that's it. All right, cool. Sup, losers? It's Bruce. Just doing something. I'll join later. Oh, okay. All right, so we'll start it then. You guessed it. Nice guess. Well, I mean, like you remembered it, right? By the way, you guys can put background music. There's so many card games. Magic the Gathering. I've played Magic. It's not like that. Yeah, that's not even... Well, it could be a video game. Hearthstone is very popular. It's music plus mainstream. So it's going to be a combination of them. I've never heard of that. Yes, you could join. I've been saying to join over and over. I guess your internet's really bad. Press on the link. You thought it'd be mainstream music? Wait, can I end it? Oh. Huh? Kevin Spacey. I watched this. I watched the first few seasons, bro. Oh my god. And this isn't that much. Frank Underwood, yeah. So easy, Chris. What happened? You can end game to start over? Wait. How do you spell it? How do you spell it? This game is stupid. Wait, how do you end? I don't know how to end it. Seinfeld. Not Field. Stupid ass. Oh, Doctor's back. I don't know how to end game, whatever. Batman. Oh, he's the guy from Batman? Man Bat. Batman. Oh, that's dumb. Oh, I know this. When I was a kid, I watched this, I think. I want to see the name because I don't remember. Yeah, it's okay. We'll just play it. Dinel's almost at 50. Beauty and the Beast. God damn it. I do. She's young. Don't know the name in English. Had to join. Chat room. Oh, room. This will end current game. Olivia Rodrigo. Oh, was that what it was? Oh. Beatles. Yeah, Olivia I know who she is, but I didn't know that song. I was joking with Beatles Aqua. Come on. Why are you guys cursing? Simon or Garfunkel. I actually know them. I don't know how these people look. Oh, yes! I'm watching this right now. Naruto. I'm literally watching this for my anime reactions channel, guys. Yo, nerd. Well, should I plug my anime reactions channel? You guys want to know? It's gonna be called Ping Reacts. I'm gonna make a Discord announcement when it releases. I literally just watched an episode today of it. Heard about you and your honeyed words. Damn, fairy. No. Okay, whatever. No one cares. Call of Duty. Adele. It says what video game? When you're putting Adele. Elder Scrolls, Skyrim, Arrow to the Knee. I would know. I know him. Let's go. Done. Come on, doctor. Come on. Doctor, I know it's a hard one. You don't even need to spell him all out. I just typed in Trump. That worked. Let's go. War has changed. Halo. Halo 2. Halo 3. Markiplier. Dinell got it. What games do... Dinell likes like Ratchet and Clank though. I don't think that's... 50,000 people used to live here. Yes! Call of Duty! Modern for... Call of Duty 4, right? Metal Gear Solid. Ah. Nice, Dinell. Alright. We'll do one last round and then I think I might end stream. For those being like, aw, I apologize. I know we haven't played Super Mario today, but I'm trying to stream a little less often so I could set things up for stream and for YouTube and stuff. Never played Metal Gear Solid? Me neither. Oh, you haven't either, Tina. Sorry, Chris. I know you just joined in. Make it a longer round? I could do that. What categories you want? I'll say all of them. Mainstream, easy, medium, hard, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, animated movies, anime and manga, architecture, art, brands, cartoons, comic books. We could have more than one category. Flags, French, Game of Thrones. I don't know why that's on its own. Geography, indie games, indie games. Dinal will do well. And Cashew if he was here. Internet and memes, K-pop, literature, logos, movies, music, nature, personalities, Pokemon, rap, series, software and apps, sport, superheroes, TV shows, technology, The Witcher, video games, and videos and streams. Oh yeah, Doctor would do well on indie games too. What am I saying? Doctor literally loves indie games and Nintendo. Alright. You guys are asking for a lot. Animated, we'll put all of them. Anime, I agree that could have spoilers, but I don't think it would. Is everyone okay with anime and manga? If not, I could exit out. Pokemon? We just did Pokemon, but we could add it back. Also, Cortez would enjoy that, I think. If he would want to join. It's the last round. Do all things not old? What? Do all things not old? What does that mean? Damn it, there's an ad right now. Sorry, guys. Make it a longer round. Anything, everything. Literature. Was literature one of them? Literature was one of them. Okay. Movies. I don't know how many we could go through, though. Video games. None of it has spoilers. It's just images or vague quotes. Yeah, that's a good point. Do things like 80s? You want the 80s? Okay. Don't do things. Okay, no 80s. Alright, I think I got what everyone requested. If I missed one, let me know. If not, we'll be starting. Cortez or anyone else in chat, I would recommend joining. This is the last round. Last round. I know there's an ad right now. I'm sorry about that. Stupid ass Twitch. I mean, I love you, Twitch. But yeah. Oh, you said to make it longer too. So we'll say first to 150 points. We've done first to 50, first to 300. It's a lot of points, guys. First to 250. We'll go in the middle. First to 250. It'll be like 20 minutes. Okay, first to 250, last round. You could join in the middle, but yeah. I think Cortez was busy. That's why he said in 20 minutes specifically with the RuneScape thing. But you could join mid-game also, so. That's what's cool about this game. I like that. I think we're good? Okay, cool. Oh, that's from an anime. I have no idea. Fairy knows. Damn. Naruto. I think Fairy's gonna win. You love this anime? Yuri on Ice. I don't know. Terror Owl City. Fire Force, Fireflies, Terror, and Resonance. Oh, I know him. I know him. He's the mafia guy. Yeah, Doctor knows too. Al Pacone. How do you say his damn name? Al Pacino, bro. Oh, I knew him. The hell is that? Lol. What is that? Fortnite. Snake. I love that you put Fortnite. Dead Cells. I like Dead Cells. Only played it once, but... Oh! Let's go! Everyone knew that one. And I got it first. Hell yeah, I got it first. I don't know The Witcher. My cousin played it. I don't know anything about it, really. God of War. It's a character. It can't be God of War. Sonic. The Witcher, duh. Imagine. No, The Witcher has long white hair, no? Yeah, no one was getting that. That's Manhattan. How do you know this? I also thought Geoguessr. That's literally New York. Huh? No way, it's called Manhattan. Oh. Mini Metro. I've never heard of that. Dinell has culture. Oh. Chris is close, guys. But he doesn't know how to spell. Aqua, look at Chris's and spell it a bit differently. Pidgeotto. Pidgeotto. Guys. I love that game. Evil as plain as a scar on his face. Oh. I thought Lion King too, cause Scar. It's an animated movie. It's not gonna be Scarface, guys. Pokemon. Deception, disgrace. It's probably a musical. Oh my god. Me and Fairy were right, and then Aqua, but I don't know. This looks cool though. What's up, Nico? How you doing? I couldn't think of the name. I watched that game. I love that game. What? I'm doing good, Nico. How are you? Hot Naruto. Haganai? It's like a hentai. I thought Fairy Tale too, but I knew it wasn't, so I didn't guess it. The hell is this? It's not even Shakespeare, and I put Shakespeare and Doctor puts Hamlet. It's Cornelli. Hentai 2. Hentai 3? No one was getting that. Good? Great to hear, Nico. I'm playing a community game now. Wait. Oh, I know this. Yes, me and Aqua know. Let's go. I knew it right away. I just couldn't remember the name. And then I got it. BioShock. What are you, crazy? Come on, Fair. You don't have culture? I didn't even play the game. I watched the show and I saw a lot of the game. Whoa. That looks so cool. It's not Attack on Titan. It's not. I'm putting stuff even though I know it's not that anime. Ooh, Dinell got it. Those characters look mad cool. There was a dragon anime. Maybe it's the 86. I've never heard of that. That's cool that you knew that, Dinell. Everyone goes Call of Duty. This looks like a very old FPS game. Black. What was the first FPS game? I forgot what it was called. One of the first games. Oh, that's not what I thought. Killzone 2. The hell is that? Thank you, Aqua. You actually got an anime, but you spelled it wrong. Oh my god. I copied you, but I knew how to spell it. I didn't watch it. Your game channel is 1.11k. Nice. You're so dumb. I don't think I've even watched Berserk. Maybe I'll watch it on the Anime Reactions channel. Oh! Isn't this the hentai? Maybe not. This is one of the best animes. This one? Or Berserk? I think I saw Berserk. No idea. Hentai. Hentai. Berserk, I think I saw the movie by accident. That looks familiar. That might be an old school anime that I saw in Japan or something. A hand in my pocket. I will cut it off. Oh, Berserk? Fairy knows. Fairy is a person of culture. Samurai Champloo is the best, though. I have to watch that, too. I have to watch a lot. Pokemon. The Elder Scroll. See, I haven't played Skyrim. Oh. I got it. Like, I was like, I know what this is. And then I had to think about it. And boom. You're so close, DNL. Death Note. Oh. Monsters, Inc. I was going to guess that as a troll. Famous actress. Riley Reid, my mom. Woman. Girl. That's not Aubrey Plaza. Aubrey Plaza it looks interesting. Linda. I'm happy I'm Emilia Clarke. That looks familiar. I'm happy that I wasn't also lost. I've only watched Spirited Away, really. Water Boy. Fairy knows it. Fairy's like, come on. How long? Wow, I probably could have guessed that. Come on, Fairy. The hell? Harry Potter. Friends. And when you see 4 people, you always guess 4 Stooges. Scotland, a guide to being Scottish. Wait, is that a thing? The Angels Share. Okay. Oh. I'm trying to copy Aqua. It looks like Aqua got it. Stinky, Metallica. Bellatrix? Oh, yeah, 1 L you were missing. Well, who is that from? I think my sister watches that. Because whatever that was. Take it on. I have no idea who that is. Separate my side. Don't believe it's. That looks pretty sussy, Baka. I think we'll raid Triple G today, by the way, guys. Killing of a Sacred Deer. He's playing Breath of the Wild, so I know some of you guys would enjoy that. War never changes. Call of Duty? No. This could be like any like game. Call of Duty 4? Fallout 3, I think Chris DC'd a while ago. The hell? What is this? What is this? Roblox Fortnite? What is this? I know. Piss. Risk of Rain. I actually heard of that game from another streamer. Ooh, Dinell. You've been playing Bloodborne. But you've only been you're in the beginning more, right? No idea. Never played it. Same. Blood Witcher. Father guess Gokoki. He's the first boss. Dinell. What is this? Fortnite. Death by Daylight. We're all guessing like it does look like those types of games. Ooh, Doctor got it. Oh, you said Death by it was Dead by Daylight. Oh. Not Nidoran, Nidorino. Nidorino. I gave it to you guys. Nope. I just said it out loud. Nidorino. BB Puppy Poopy. What a name. Oh! Isn't that from, Damn. I know the game. It's not Metroid. It's, Papyrus? The guy's name is Papyrus? Papyrus? What is Papyrus? Thanks, Doctor. What a fuckwit. I wrote Sans first. Yeah, I thought of Sans. I never played the game, though. I don't know much about life, huh? Or about stuff. What anime is this? I have no idea. The delay is like 15 seconds. Sword Art Online. I feel like watching anime now. What is this? Darwin's Game. I've heard of that. Would you recommend watching it? Maybe I'll watch it. Isn't this the new scary game that came out? What is it called? Five Nights FNAF? FNAF 2? It looks like that. Oh, Little Nightmares. I played this, but I don't know. If I say to you, don't think about elephants, what do you think about elephants? I don't know how people remember quotes. I knew Fairy was gonna get it. I don't know how you guys remember this stuff. You like this movie? But even movies I like, I wouldn't remember. Oh, Inception. Like, I've seen Inception. I like that movie. I probably saw it 2-3 times. And I don't even remember that quote. Oh! Finally, a game I know. Come on, guys. Really? This one is so easy. I'm not gonna say it, though, because I want to win, but... There you go. Doctor got it. Apex. Huh? Cards? It reminds me of what was that mecha anime? Guys, do you remember the mecha anime? I love how you typed out the name of the card. That actually is smart. Oh, that's not even what it was. Never mind. Kakegurui. We don't read and write poetry because it's cute. I have no idea, bro. I'm not even gonna try. Oh, Dinell, nice. Dead poets, dead poetry. Aw, Sag. A famous Asian musician. Asian man. Shigeru Miyamoto. The only one you know, right? Lol. That's racist, bro. Nobuo Uematsu. Oh, Uematsu. Uematsu. That's actually a famous Japanese guy. I've heard. Yeah. I have some of his music on my Spotify, I think. He made the Final Fantasy music, guys. The guy before made the Final Fantasy music. Oh, wrong side. Oh, I really thought it was hard. So me and Epicuro. Hyrule. Harry Potter the game. Oh. Hypixel. Did I say that out loud? I literally thought Hypixel, but I completely ignored it in my head. Hello, neighbor. That's a good guess. It's like G Pokemon. Nova. I have no idea what that is. I don't know if you guys knew what that was, but Nova Life? Oh, I know this. This is the magician one. The magician one. Come on, bro. Now you see me. I just said it out loud. Dinell gave it away. Oh my god, bro. It's now you see me, not now you see it. Something I actually knew. Whoa. Oh, this is the anime with all the women that my sister, well, one of my relatives likes this anime, I think. I forgot what it was called. I've seen her on Twitter. Lol boobs, Sailor Moon. Yeah, I was thinking Sailor Moon. Urusei Yatsura. Oh. Okay. Oh! Let's go! Easy, baby, easy! Oh, Chris, you suck. Aqua, good job. Chris, you suck. His internet's bad. He's in Mexico right now, but still. I thought they were going to ask the character. I wish they asked the character. Garp. Oh, easy. Yeah, I was very careful to spell assassins right. And you all spelled it wrong, except me, Fairy, and Epicuro. Damn, we are tied, yeah. We're very close with this type of stuff, Epicuro. Except with the geography, you owned everyone. Pokemon were very close. Mario. Mario Kart. Oh, shit. Fairy knows a lot of shit. You know, this round alone is taking like 30 minutes. Cave Story. Wii Sports. I don't know, man. Huh? Paper, rock, scissors. Oh, I don't know that. Oh, this is easy. No, actually. Oh, I was right? I thought this was Prince of Persia for a second, but I typed in Aladdin, spelled correctly. 1L, bro, 1L. And 2Ds. 2Ds nuts. I know this. I know this because of chat. It's not Overwatch. I think I know this because of chat. Like, no joke. What is it called? I suck at spelling. Oh, I actually didn't think that was Valorant. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was something else. Monkey D. Garpy. Yeah, baby. Let's go. This looks very familiar. Ooh, Doctor got the indie game. We're waiting for you. Oh, that was Dead Cells? I've played Dead Cells before. I didn't even recognize it. But I only played it once. I will never get movie quotes. Unless it's like... Well, I got Monster Inc. That's about it. Pokemon. Nope. Fortnite. Zootopia. That's actually a good... An actual... Ant-Man. How do you guys remember? You guys say, like you remember exactly where it's from. I never remember that type of stuff. What's up, Nathan? Welcome back. We're actually gonna end stream after this game, but nice to see ya. Full Metal Alchemist, you think? Darling, I've heard of that. Never watched it though. Oh, yo! Oh no, I was so proud of myself. Oh, we all know it. I felt so proud of myself for knowing that. How do you spell it? Is that... Oh, it's an A, not an O. Bro. Nice, Epicuro. That's what you're here for, to learn how to write that. Alright, see you, Nathan. Bye-bye. I don't know this anime. Yuri. Yuri on Ice. Hi. Oh, what's up, Nathan? No one knew that one. Oh, maybe Fairy did. Death Note, Death Note, Death. Hey, see ya, Nathan. Wait, do you know actually got it? Demon Slayer. I hope not. Nah, it's none of the new anime. Doro Doro. I still haven't watched that. Hey, what's up, Nathan? Ooh! I've seen an episode of this. I've seen an episode of this anime. It's a hentai. No, it's not a hentai. I'm joking. I forgot the name though. She goes to a karaoke bar and like sings. I think, or maybe not. Oh, Nathan was right. Dragon Maid. He said in chat. You could join the game if you want, Nathan. If you want to join the game. I was way off, by the way. Catwoman. Red, white, blue, yellow. It's an anime. Kuroneko. That's actually a smart guess. I don't know if you did that intentionally, but Kuro means black and Neko means cat. So it looks like a black cat. Her ears. Skyrim. Everything's Skyrim. God of War. Hood? No idea what that is. Huh. Okay. Mario? Bruh, stop trolling. I reached 100. I'm happy. Damn, can I kick Chris out? His internet is so bad he can't play the game. I feels bad, man, but I also... Nah, that's fine. We'll only have to wait a little bit. Donkey Kong. Oh! Yes! I'm so proud of my... Yes, doctor. You know how to spell mansion well. I was gonna put the haunted, but you don't need to put the haunted. Kind of dumb, but... No, because I would most likely lose. No, you just got that anime. No one got that, Nathan. And who cares if you lose? It's for fun. There's only one person who's gonna win. The hell is this? Fortnite. It looks like a character from oh yeah, I don't know. I played PlayStation All Stars. It looks like that game. Let's go. That's so easy. Oh, that's so easy. I know, but to me, winning's everything. Okay. Aight. It felt so weird to look at because I always hear it in Japanese, you know? I only know one character from One Piece. Lol. You're so lucky then. Send link again? Okay. I'm gonna kick myself. Bro, Fairy, you know a lot of shit. Avengers? I don't even remember when they said that. Bye, guys, and I'll always be with you. I love you, and I'll always be with you. This sounds like the meme. Hangover. Ah, 127 hours. I kicked myself. My mom always said, "Oh, the guy. What's his name? Life's like a box of chocolates." That yes. You spelled it wrong and you gave me the answer. Thank you, Dino. It was filmed in your state, really? What's your state again? Kentucky? I don't remember, Doctor. What is it? Wait, never mind. Oh. Okay. I was thinking of something else. But your state is Kentucky, right? Rayman it does look like Rayman Legends. Brian. Fireboy and Water Girl. What is your state, Doctor? I forgot. Oh! What? What? Oh, that's not Transylvania? That looks so familiar. Oh, I can't wait to see the actual answer. I know what this is. Flushed away? Oh. Away? You don't want to... Doctor, tell me where you're from. I hated this movie. It looks nasty. I never seen it, but I know it. It looks familiar. I think I've seen it. Bro, every movie with this guy... I forget all the names. Fast and the Furious. Inception. Yeah, you just see him, you write Inception. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Heard of it? Never saw it. The hell is this? Huh? Eat me. Eat me too. I have no idea. Fishy. I'm gonna try fish. I have no idea what this is. Love this game? Fairy knows too much. Spore! Oh, okay. Best game of my childhood does not still hold up. There's a way out of this game. Kill ourselves together here now. If you can't do that, then don't trust. Oh. I thought it was Spy Kids. I got so excited. Sort out online, yeah. You think everything's glorious battle royale? Haven't played it since I was 8, so I don't know. Rules to survive 1 cardio. What? It starts with one thing. I don't know why. It doesn't even matter how hard you try. Keep that in mind. All I know. Wow. Wow. Doctor, have you ever said what state you live in? I know you're Mountain Time. I remember that. If you don't want to say it, it's fine too, but I feel bad if you said it and I forgot. I have no idea what this is. You always spell it wrong. Okay, I yield. Bye. Okay. Bye, Doctor. Super Seducer. What the hell? The game was about to end. You should have seen where he scored at least. The game's almost over. Fairy just needs 40 points. You were so close to 69 too. Bald Putin. Strangers on a Train. That is a movie. Bald fuck. Keep that in mind. I designed this rhyme to get myself out. I tried so hard. Part of your property. Me and Epicuro are very close. I just played this game at my friend's house recently. I literally just played this game like a month ago. Let's go. I just look at what you guys said. Yep, Binding of Isaac. I know this, but still. Oh! I've never watched it, but how could you not know if you're a weeaboo? The top 3 players are weeaboos. Toro. So close. Totoro. Just put Totoro. One doesn't know how to spell neighbor, one doesn't know how to spell Totoro. I did the full title. Well, you can afford to. Oh, I've seen this movie. It was so boring. I think I fell asleep in it. It's when he sleeps in a bear or something. That's why Aqua put bear probably. Push as far as I can go. The Revenants, that's right. You have a good memory, Fairy. Again, wait, we already had this. How do you remember? Oh, Banana Joe or something? Oh, I gave it away. Nathan, the only reason we know this is because we had it before in a previous round. Don't let Fairy get any more points. Oh, come on. Huh, no, my keyboard. That's not fair. I would have beaten you, Epicuro. My keyboard did a double A by accident. Thanks. You didn't know? You didn't even know? Oh. Dragonair, guys. Dragonair. Rule 34. GG's, guys. GG's. 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 That's all for me to... That one game took like half an hour, guys. Yeah, we're gonna end there. We're gonna raid though. One more. Nah, I can't. It was fun though. I like doing community games from time to time. I was glad to have some points. Yeah. Round 2 or Genshin? Nah. Remember, I'll do some homework now or some small. Oh, Super Mario. Sorry, guys. Wait, I was gonna raid I am Triple G, so let's just raid him. I'm gonna go stream some small speedrunning. Oh, so maybe I should have raided you. I don't know, banana or what? Will you play this game again? I don't know. But it is really fun, and I think it's a great game to play with chat. I wouldn't be able to tell you though. But yeah, we'll just raid them. Oh, we have 10 people here. Oh, nice. I will try to put in the community games group on the Discord whenever we play community games though. Let's play next week? Yeah, maybe. This month we'll be playing more community games, I think. All right, have a great night, guys, and I think it was a good stream. So, hope you guys enjoyed. You're back right when we're ending. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Figure this out. Calamity Ganon's at the top. If I go down, there should be water somewhere, right? Or am I freaking out? There's a moat, but it goes in the water. On the... Climb the mountain on the northwest, so I'll be right here. Oh my god. What's up, everybody? Ding dong 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 from Ping Pong. What's up, bros? Yo, you fighting Ganon? No. I'm trying to figure out this, There's a shrine in the castle, and I can't seem to find it. Welcome, everybody. How is everybody doing today? You're playing community games? Oh my god, you know what the worst thing is? This is like the worst time because I have to go use the washroom really bad. I am about to poo myself. And look, don't judge me, but I'm growing a horn. It's so laggy. I know. I'm running right now at like a super high. Oh my god. Here it is. We should be fine now. Oh my god, I gotta go. I gotta use it. I'm growing a horn though. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. I'm gonna put it on. Be right back though. Thank you so much. Enjoyed the poo-poo. I'm gonna be like 2 seconds. Watch some clips. Guys, thank you for rating though. Ping pong. I'm so sorry. I'll be right back. taking a while. That's rude. Oh, Mr. Thor's back. I do. I tweeted you while I was pooping. I miss her. The stream has voted and you take me. Okay. Next time, guys, I'll take you with me to go poop. Holy, I'm so sorry. Thank you for the raid, Sadish.